Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the fam, man. How y'all doing out there, man, in Saints country? Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's popping? Big ups to y'all. Appreciate y'all being in the live. As usual, man, listen, man, we're going to talk a little Saints. I know this is a surprise Sunday stream, but hey, man, how y'all doing? It's never too difficult of a time to talk black and gold with the fam. So shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in the live. Please do me a service. Hit that like button and the share button, man, as we get going in the stream. Big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Poppy 504, Young City, Night Ward, Quavadius, Louisiana, man. Brother Duke is in this thing. Big up, Super Saints fan IV. Shout out to you as well. Saints for life. Chantel, shout out to the queen. All right, she says, Q, did you see where the Bears made a massive trade package to the Steelers for Tomlin and the Steelers? Yes, I did see that, Chantel. Appreciate you bringing that to us. Yes, I did see that. I definitely seen that. That just goes to show you that the Steelers, they're rock solid. I mean, they only had like what, 3 or 4 coaches in their entire tenure. That is, these people obviously have the recipe for success, man. They obviously have it. They know who to hire, when to hire them. And when you had, that is not coincidence that you had like 3 or 4 coaches for your entire time that you've been in existence. That is phenomenal, because they figured out the success matrix. They figured out the key to it. So crazy, man, but it is what it is, man. A lot of teams would want to emulate that. All right, big ups to you. I see you, Jack. Shout out to you, Marley Mall, as well. He says, howdy, you know what? The Commanders started a rebuild after the Saints and going to the NFC Championship. Quarterback means everything, fam. So does coaching. Coaching means everything, too. And if you watch the way it was, the Commanders, all they needed was competent QB play. And Jaden Daniels, man, with a decent offensive line, a running attack, and wide receivers to throw to, Jaden Daniels he has the ability as a pass and run threat to turn everything around. Plus, he's high IQ, and he's a guy we knew when he was here at LSU for those years. Like, if you would have given him a defense in his last year, they would have had a championship. But Jaden Daniels is terrific. That's what it is. A good quarterback changes everything. So does a good coach. And talent around. You can have wide receivers like we do. We can have, you know, running backs like we do. We have a good group of tight ends. Our offensive line is up and down. But if you have good coaching and good quarterback play, man, you can go to the stars. Man, we've seen that happen. We've seen that turn around. We've seen it happen with the Rams. We've seen it happen with the Lions. We've seen it happen with the Commanders. And you'll continue to see that happening. You'll so congratulations to Jaden Daniels, man. Our LSU brethren. He did his thing, man, and I'm just so happy for him, man. The Commanders, I think this is what the last time they've been to the playoffs, like 19 years ago. And their support base is rabid right now. They just off the chain because this is special. Because, man, listen, when you do the right things, you get the right results, and that's just the bottom line. You see. Be great, Josh. Shout out to you. What's up, brother Carlton? How you doing, my man? Good to see you. In the stream, see Bama. What's popping, fam? Says Aaron Glenn. All right, that's who you like. See Bama. I got you, brother. All right, what's up, Rico? Shout out to Rico, man. What's up, Kathleen? Much love to you, Queen. Appreciate you as well. What's up, Donna, baby? Appreciate you. Say hello, Q. From this is Don. Okay, from Cali. All right, big ups to you, girl. Hope everything's all right with you out there in Cali. By the way, hearing a lot of stuff going on out there in California. Really troubling to my spirit because I'm a history guy. I pay attention to history. I've always been paid attention to history. Events that's happening there just don't happen out of the blue. This is a very unique situation that's going on out there. It's really crazy. So you guys be safe out there, man. All right. Shout out to what's up, Dame? Shout out to you, my brother. He says, what Dame says, Q, Cliff would be my choice. The Saints need to wait on him. Hey, bro, man, I've been saying this, man. There's something about Cliff Kingsbury and the Saints that's, I'm instinctual. So it's something about that, man. I don't know where I could be totally wrong on that, but I've been telling the family about that I don't know how, for the while, about Cliff Kingsbury. Now, listen. This ain't inside baseball. Y'all know I usually tell y'all if I got word on the street. This ain't word on the street. This is something strictly instinctual. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. It's something about Cliff Kingsbury, and I ain't talking about from his past. It could be something there. I don't know. I don't have anything on that. This is strictly instinctual. Do that as you may, but the way he's running it, and remember he was supposed to get hired on as an offensive coordinator. Wasn't it for the Eagles? And then he backed out of it at the last moment and then went to the Commanders to take their job, and then they got Jaden Daniels, and he can name his price. What he's doing, like he beat Aaron Glenn's defense, and he basically, and we'll talk about him in the stream, but his stock is rising. Obviously, because of what he's doing with Washington and his head coaching experience, the fact that did he learn the mistakes? Because see, when you get in there young like he did, he just didn't disappear like some of these guys that step in hot from college. They were sought after out of college, usually a little older. But this guy was a young guy coming out of college, had success to a degree at Texas. What was it? Texas A&M or Texas Tech? I forget. Y'all remind me. And then he gets into the NFL head coaching job with Arizona, kind of falls apart there. Then the next situation he does is he kind of goes back to the offensive coordinator level, licks his wounds, moves around. Now he's with the Commanders, and he's looking to become a head coach again. He's still very much a young coach. So he's not, in his mind where he's old enough where he's just one of these older coaches who's not going to learn. They just keep doing everything they've been doing because they figure, hey, man, it worked for me this long. Why the hell should I change it? You see? So I don't know. It's something about that Cliff Kingsbury thing. We'll see, man. We shall see. Chantel says, Q, maybe the Saints can have a huge trade package that includes Mickey. Yes. Maybe the Saints could have a huge trade package that hold on now, Chantel. Hold on now. Derek Carr, the entire coaching staff, and Roger Goodell to the Steelers for Mike Tomlin. I don't think they would turn all of that down because that would destroy the greatness of what the Steelers have built over time. All right, thank you, Chantel. Shout out to Desi. Much love to Desi. The Queens are in the building always. Much love to my ladies out there, man. Shout out to the Kings as well, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. All right, the Future. Shout out to your Future. Good to see you in the chat as well. Yeah. All right. She said, thank you, Donna. She says, all is well with me. I'm not in the okay, cool. Good. I know that's up in the mountains. Hey, man, listen. All I know is I pay attention to the patterns. See, that's the thing. If you know the rhythm, and the rhythm is pattern, the pattern is, pattern recognition. This happens over time. If you can remember the historical points in time, the time marks in time, you can get an idea of what's going on. Katrina, Hawaiian fires. If you pay attention to those things and correlate the data, you'll get some interesting points there. You really would. Telling you, it's very interesting, man. All right, what's up, fam? Quavadia says, Glenn Brady, McCarthy, and Cliff Kingsbury for me and that. Okay, you like Aaron Glenn. Okay, thank you. All right, brother Timer says, what do you think about Matt Nagy? Matt Nagy, good offensive mind. I mean, I like that Andy Reid coaching tree. I do. He failed, and that's a good Timer Network. That's actually a good question there, because that's like off the back of the Cliff Kingsbury situation. Nagy's older than Cliff. I want to say he's older, but he's a guy that knows that offensive system with Coach Reid and had previous coaching experience with Chicago. Matter of fact, I think Nagy had a plus 500 record with Chi-Town. And to be honest with you, there's not that many coaches that seem to be able to sustain success in Chi-Town. And maybe some of my Chi-Town people out there, they can speak to that, but that has to be a part of the ownership. Whatever the ownership is going on out there, for whatever reason, they can't seem to sustain success over a long period of time, because there is no reason why the Chicago Bears shouldn't be in a position like the Minnesota Vikings or the Green Bay Packers or even the Detroit Lions. There is literally no reason for why they should be a team always under 500 or barely competing together. It's no rhyme or reason for it, except for bad leadership at the top. Why else would there be failure in any organization unless the leadership at the top is bad? You don't start at the bottom and saying these players aren't no good. You always seem to go up the top because it all trickles downhill. Whatever you have at the top will be at the bottom. So above, so below. So above, so below. Principles. It's the same stuff on a higher level. So above, so below. So whatever you have at the top of that organization is going to be what you have at the bottom of that. So if you got crap and junk at the top of the organization, no accountability, people don't know what they're doing, you're going to see that trickle down to the bottom. You're going to see repetitive 9 playoff games. Seasons happen. You're going to see bad personnel decisions. You're going to see non-accountability going on. You're going to see everything and anything that's some garbage and crap in an organization that's ran wrong. And you're seeing that, aren't you, Who Dat Nation? You are seeing, you're literally reason that. So to a degree, I can see what's happening with Chi-Town. But Matt Nagy's not a bad candidate either, bro. He had previous coaching experience with Chi-Town. He has a good offensive system. He's been under Andy Reid, and Andy Reid is the best coach in the league right now. Why not go and interview him and talk to him? He's a lot better. He's head and shoulders better than Rizzy. Rizzy doesn't have a clue. And some of these other guys, like the guy from that used to be with the Bears, and now he's with whatchamacallit, with the Eagles. Nagy, I think Nagy is that's a good one, Timer. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you. All right, Derek says I told you, Q, Aaron Glenn defense. Yes, you did, Derek. You ain't been on the Aaron Glenn train. I think a lot of people like Coach Glenn because he was down here, he's a cool dude and all that kind of stuff. But fam, like I was saying, this is business, right? And oftentimes, like people that aren't business people, you know, this is how I operate, right? In business. Like if there's something going on and I got a group of people with me that I've been rocking with me, and they're in the same field that I'm dealing with, but in different ways. And if the opportunity presented themselves to me and I'm able to help bring them along with me there, I'm going to try to do it. Why? Because it makes good business sense to bring along people that are qualified and that you could trust and you have a synergy and a chemistry with, right? Makes all the sense in the world. That's why you see a lot of coaches move from places to place. They pick guys that they can trust, that understand what they're doing, and they bring them in and they work together. That's fine, right? The the delineation between personal and business, even though I'm a square business dude, which means I don't believe in the Enron model or all this the other kind of stuff when they just was doing all that kind of crap to the people and saying when they screw over the people, they say, "Hey, nothing personal, just business." That don't that's crap. That's garbage. I don't care in what realm you're operating in, whether it's business, personal, or monkey. It don't make a difference. You have to operate with square business principles. There is no situation that occurs where it's supposed to be something that's unscrupulous, that's disagreeable, dishonest, because your ass wouldn't want that to happen to you. You don't want nobody gaming, you don't want nobody like old school world ganking you. Remember that? Or screwing over you or whatever the case may be. You don't want that to happen to you. So don't get out there and do that to nobody. So square business principles at all times. With that being said, there should be a delineation between what the guy is personally versus what he is from a business standpoint. We like Coach Aaron Glenn, but is he qualified to lead this team? Is he qualified to lead? That's the question. Not the fact that you like the guy personally. You see, that's the problem with the Saints. That's the problem. The Saints liking these people personally, but not having the mind to look at them from a business standpoint. Say, if this person has the necessary skill set to lead this team back to prominence, do they have all of the attributes needed to be a winning organization? That's the question. Now, I personally think Aaron Glenn will be a strong coaching coach for you because of all of his experience as being a player. He has the experience, long time, like 18 years of being in the NFL as a player, a productive player, right? He actually went the steps up the tree. He started off and he is the secondary coach, then moved from a secondary coach or a DB coach. He was a DB coach, moved from a DB coach to secondary coach up to boom, he got up there to defensive coordinator. Next step is head coach. We know that somebody's going to give him an opportunity to be the head coach. The Jets like him a lot. He wants the Jets. The Saints are probably going to eventually sit down with him and see if they can, move him into their thinking. But at the end of the day, is he qualified to lead this team back to playoff prominence? Because that's what we are looking for. We're looking for somebody that can fix the mess that has been done on the field, make people accountable. Not don't sit up here and make excuses for him like we seen the old interim coach do when he took over the team and seeing all kind of crap and filth going on, but sit up there and lie on press conferences about how it's terrific effort and they getting blown out in games and getting pushed around. We don't need that. We don't need that manner of incompetence and ignorance and foolishness from any placating ass coach. I gotta call it like this because my patience is at an end with the Saints. That's why I am so aggressive with this message. And a lot of people don't understand that. You got to look at everything that we've been through to this point, and all of this stuff that's been happening did not just happen and people did not know. We were saying it the whole time, saying this is a bad decision, saying this is wrong, saying this is a thing. And these people screw up, waste our time with this dumb crap, and then don't apologize for nothing they do and just spin a ton of excuses on why the team failed. That is frustrating. That is frustrating. That's why I'm so adamant and I come at them so hard with this, is because this is the message. I'm tired of y'all. I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of you. That's the message. That's the energy that I'm coming with, because this is not difficult. None of this is difficult. If the Commanders can turn their season around and go to the playoffs the first time in 19 years, or if the Detroit Lions, who've been a laughing stock for the last 15 something odd years, they can turn it around and get respectable, or any other team that's been having terrible success, terrible failures over time, can all of a sudden turn their stuff. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? So that's why I'm so aggressive, and that's why I feel the way I do. It's just sitting up, just doing what I do. It's like it's different for journalists or reporters or whatever because they get paid to do it. I know they have a certain degree of frustration, but they're getting paid. You see, but and to a degree, this is the reality that we dealing with when you got people. But when you know these people not doing what they're supposed to do, and they operating with energy like they don't care, they don't have any leadership. You got a guy up there talking crap and spending a bunch of man. That's tiresome, man. Because it's not that hard, fam. It's not that hard. You got to give a damn, number one, and you got to have some accountability. And these people just want to make money. That's what it is in a nutshell. So what do you do with just that? I don't know. I don't know what you do with that, except deprive them of the thing that they want the most until they level it up and say, hey man, see, they know what to do, but they lazy. They're not going to do it until you force them to do it. That's how we had to get Dennis Allen out of here. The Saints know how to clean up this team and fix it, but they lazy. They can't, or they don't want to rock the boat. They just want to keep making paper. But you're not gonna make paper in that way off of us, the intelligent ones. I'm talking to the intelligent ones, man. I ain't talking to nobody. I ain't got two brain cells to rub together. They don't understand that the power's in their hand. I ain't talking to you because you have no power. I'm talking to people that understand that their money have power, and and people that actually have discipline, and not those ones that just want to participate onto their own. But then when they get kicked in their ass in life, they crying. They don't understand that as a collective you dominate, not as an individual. So, I mean, in the end, this is real game in real life. You just have to apply it to every aspect of it. And I myself, as a dedicated black and gold diehard, am tired of this. So, this is my way of changing it until it changes. So, that's what I'm going to do. Continue to do what I do. All right. Shout out to you, Derek. Appreciate you. Darwin, I see you, man. Appreciate you as well. Big ups to it. Much love to y'all. All right. What's up, Dana? Shout out to Dana. What's up, girl? How you doing? KB Flame, shout out to you. Says Mickey Loomis had a word for the Who Dat Nation. 4-12, 3-13, 6-10. He's taking losing Allen hard. Let's roll with Brady. LSU breed stars, home team, baby. All right. Thank you, KB. All right. Much love, fam. Appreciate you. All right, and big ups to all y'all, man. I appreciate y'all so being. What's up, Godspeed? So I'm feeling Brady or McCarthy. Glenn's defense has been giving up yards all season, so this was just confirmation about the flaws that the defense have. So the case is, does Mickey Loomis see any of this? Like you're saying, does he see that? Is he going to look at that playoff performance and reevaluate his thoughts on Aaron Glenn? Of course he won't. He gonna look right past that because that guy don't know what he doing. Not Aaron Glenn, but Mickey Loomis. He don't know what he doing. He don't know what he doing. He lucked up on Peyton. And that's what it, because if you really knew what you're doing, you would be able to hire a qualified coach. You wouldn't have went with Dennis Allen. You wouldn't have went with Dennis Allen. He wasn't qualified to be the head coach. He didn't deserve another shot. He really didn't. He did good on defense, but everybody in the NFL, or if they're looking at him, it's in a defensive coordinator position. They know the man like and you should have known that for him being in the building 10 years. You should have known that. You know, I knew that Dennis Allen didn't have it, and I don't even know him, but I can look at him and see him that, hey, man, this ain't nobody's coach. Man, this guy couldn't lead nobody to organize a group of kindergartens to a picnic. That guy don't have it, man, and nothing wrong with that. You good at what you do. Some things you good at, some things you're not. And the man just wasn't that, man. You know, everybody has the proper place they're supposed to be put in. You know, you got a skill set that lends itself to that. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. You know, that guy wasn't the guy. And even when he did the interview, what did Dennis Allen tell y'all? He said, hey, I didn't fail. They just didn't want me. And you know that's a bunch of jargon, but that man literally believes that. But that's crazy that he would hire that type of person. So that goes to show you he don't know what he doing, and he don't give a rat's you know what. You get that? But anyway, big ups to y'all, man. We're gonna talk about it today, man. Shout out to the fam, man. I got this on board, man. Shout out to my guys at the Saints News Network, brother Kyle T. Mosley, Bob Rose, brother Hendricks. Shout out to you guys over there. Y'all check out their podcast as well, man. They doing good work, man. Always appreciate them, man. Always when I got a chance to collab with them guys, always do it because they're good people. But they talk about some of uh the candidates that's going on, man, here. And even though, and this is one of the things to talk about, the top candidate for the Saints position is Aaron Glenn. There's a poll question, by the way, fam, that I got here that's up there for the family members. If y'all haven't had an opportunity to vote on the poll, please hit that poll question. It's who do you prefer as the next head coach? And it's up there. Is Aaron Glenn, Mike McCarthy, Joe Brady, or somebody else? And right now, 33% of the family members that have voted have said that somebody else over Glenn, who's the second largest vote getter with 32%. Mike McCarthy is 8%. Joe Brady is 28%. Somebody else is winning. So, just to let y'all know, that's the Who Dat Nation talking at us. All right. Anyway, so Aaron Glenn's the top guy. We already know that, even though he doesn't prefer the Saints. Not saying that can't be the move because he's still very much on table. If the Jets decide to go in a different direction or find somebody else that they want, because a lot of the Jet support base like Aaron Glenn, but I mean, they like Aaron Glenn, but they want an offensive minded person to run the team. And that's not because they just had a inexperienced Robert Saleh, right, that was running the team. Good dude defensively, but just not a head coach yet. So they gave him an opportunity. The team really fell apart. A lot of stuff was going on up there. I like Robert Saleh a lot as a coordinator, right? That's just how it is. Some guys try and they fail. He might develop his skill and go back later on. Who knows? I know the Cowboys interviewed him for a head coaching position. We'll see. But Glenn is seen as that guy. A lot of support base want an offensive minded person. They want to fix the offense. They know the defense will be fine. And that's how we're feeling after having a defensive guy that ran the team into the ground, right? We're looking for, and that's my mindset's like, we'll be all right defensively. We always will be. But we need help offensively. We need a guy that has a good grasp on an innovative offensive system that understands the importance of having dominant line play, offensive and defensive. That's what my mind was. People say, Q, who you like? I want an offensive minded guy. Or at least if I can't get the offensive guy, if I get a defensive guy, what is your offensive philosophy? That is one of the questions that I ask. Like if I'm interviewing any of these guys to be the head coach of the team, and it's a defensive guy, I'm asking, hey, man, and of course you ask that to your offensive candidates who you bring in. But if it's a defensive character, what is your philosophy offensively? What are you going to do offensively? What kind of system are you bringing in here? What you want to do offensive. That's what I'm looking at. So if Aaron Glenn's the guy, what does the system look like? Similar to what Detroit's system look like? Well, who's the guy? Who's going to run it? But that's what I'm saying, man. I want an offensive-minded person, an innovative offensive mind. I know Joe Brady has done some good work with Buffalo. He really has. But the thing is, you want to be able to understand that, hey, man, this is not a job where I don't know if you want to bring a young guy like that who is trying to be a head coach for the first time. You will usually would have want somebody with some head coaching experience, right? Because this is not exactly the situation, in my opinion, that you will want to add a player, a coach, or that in that type of realm in this type of situation. A guy that never did it before, you know what I'm saying? I want guys that had some level of experience at that level. I can go to Brian Flores, who was a coach before, Cliff Kingsbury, who was a coach before, right? And then he became offensive coordinator again. You see what I'm saying? These guys are young enough where they can make mistakes and then come back and reinvent themselves. You see, obviously that's what Cliff Kingsbury is attempting to do, right? I failed there, but I figured this out. I caught a job. Our offenses have been pretty damn good, and it's this type of stuff. Joe Brady worked over here, he worked over there. I like Joe Brady a lot, but it's just him being a straight up rookie head coach for an old team, and we looking for some success right now, man. I don't know. I don't know. That's usually something you would do if you're bottoming out. You're saying, well, Q, that's what they're doing right now. These people just too so foolish that they don't recognize that that's what's going on. It's like the Saints right now are supposed to be over the last 4 years, playoff, 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 playoff. They have not. They've been nine playoff, nine playoff, nine playoff, nine playoff. And now on the back end, as DeMario's old, Tyron's old, Cam's old, Taysom's old, cars up there. That's where all your money is. And you're sitting up here at 5-12 in the cellar. So you're gonna put a young coach with no experience over all of that? I'm like, no. I'm like yelling, no. Whatever you going to do, make sure whoever it is, they got some coaching experience, head coaching experience, prior head coaching experience in the NFL, and the fact that the person, whoever it is, these people can come in and and take care of business because they've been there before. That's my preference. That's just me. Y'all might differ. But anyway, that's when we talk about guys like McCarthy. We talk about, that's supposed to be something that's coming up sometime this week. It's unverified whether or not when it's going to happen. It's rumored mill that the Saints are supposed to want to interview Mike McCarthy. That's supposed to happen. We know that the fact that the Saints did have a few people that they interviewed, which was, let me put this on screen for the family members, that they did interview this week. We know they interviewed Glenn. This is just a timeline of some of the guys that they interviewed thus far, just to kind of let you guys be aware of it. You can see it right here. It comes with the dates and timestamps of the information there. And Glenn was January the 10th. Vrabel was already hired by the Pats. Joe Brady was also, that's reported that the Saints interviewed him. They interviewed Mike Kafka. They interviewed Anthony Weaver. They've interviewed Brady this weekend and Kellen Moore this weekend as well. They've also that was the last three, is Rizzy, Brady, and Moore, Kellen Moore this weekend. Now, according to this, they got it scheduled up for January the 20th, which is a couple days from now, which is actually that's tomorrow, man. The Mike McCarthy interview. An interview, yes, it's supposed to be scheduled right here. So this is something that was placed by Ian Rappaport. Here's the source right here. That Saints, Mike McCarthy expected to speak with the Saints early next week. Sources says no firm date established, but that is the plan. A key candidate in both spots. And that was Palacero and Ian Rappaport, two very good insiders here for us, and that's what they're breaking down, right? So that's supposed to happen this week. Now, of course, you guys, if you hadn't noticed, that Cliff Kingsbury was supposed to be in the mix as well, but Kingsbury his stuff has just been postponed until after the season over with, because he realizes, fam, that, hey, man, I have an opportunity as a coach I need to focus on, getting my team through. We beat Detroit. Hell, if we do this straight and we play as best we could be representing in the Super Bowl. I could be you see what I'm saying? I can be a guy that can be an offensive coordinator and win a Super Bowl, then that'll just shoot his stock way in the air, right? That's a great plan for Cliff Kingsbury to do, is to bury the candidates or bury the interviews until after the run is over with, so he can focus in on his job. He plays this right, he could be the most sought after guy. If he don't get a job this year, he'll definitely get one next year. And some tell me that he will get a job this year. If this plays right, this could be a big boost for Kingsbury. So like I said, this will be interesting for those who didn't see that little giblet of information there about Cliff. But the McCarthy thing, that's a whole nother thing all within its right, because a lot of people, such as myself, I'm not really excited about Mike McCarthy. He was here as an offensive coordinator during the Jim Haslett era for like 4 years. His offenses were respectable, and I know Mike McCarthy has the more grander of the resumes out of all of these guys. He's been in the league for years. Got a Super Bowl ring, multiple playoff wins, plus he has a plus 500. I mean, not 500, but he's a winning coach in the NFL, and it's difficult to win in the NFL. Dallas had their problems and issues, but it wasn't all just Dallas and Jerry. It was also McCarthy, and a lot of that. If he didn't known for not putting his foot down, being milk toast, times being spineless, that's attributes that we don't want here in the Who Dat Nation. I don't want to take nothing from Dallas or from Texas except for some steak. I'd a damn sure. Hey, shout out to my dog Law. I'm not gonna tell you, I don't want nothing from the Cowboys at all unless they sending steaks down here and I'm gonna have them tested. I'm gonna test every one of them. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking. If the only thing I want from the Cowboys is some steaks, and anything after that, you keep the rest of it. We don't need no retreads. If we want to get an old coach, I keep saying it, family. If you want an older coach to come into your organization, why not go and talk to, at least just have a discussion? I said Pete Carroll before. Now, why are you saying Pete Carroll, Q? Why you keep talking about Pete Carroll? Because, man, Pete Carroll can help out. Pete Carroll is a guy where no matter where he's won or when he's won, he brings success to everywhere he goes. And you will want a coach. If you're going to get an older coach with that kind of resume, want that kind of, you go and you look at these guys. And he's a guy that would at least set the culture. He's a no-nonsense coach. And he would at the very least set the culture that you need, the environment, the climate that you need to sustain some success here, man. You get what I'm saying? We got to have that. Right now, the temperature is set on frozen terrain. You can't grow nothing in that, man. It's nothing growing right now in the same. It's all losing and failure and excuses. Pete Carroll comes in here and he changes all of that. He does. He sets the climate right where things are growing again. He's going to challenge players. He's going to bring in the right. He knows coaching. The guy is a coaching winner, and you don't have a ton of those guys, especially winning at the collegiate level and at the NFL level, winning championships in college and winning championship and the pro level. There's only a handful, it ain't a lot of them that did that. So that just means that the guy has the key to win, regardless of where he goes. He's going to win. That is why at least have an interview with him. Just talk to him. Just talk to him. Even just interviewing what he's going to do educates you on, hey, maybe I can add that to the coaching search. Talk to him. So I mean, like I said, man, but if you're a non-accountable buffoon and all that want to retain power, you're going to stay the hell away from a guy like Pete Carroll. You're going to stay away from him big time. You're going to stay away. If you're a non-accountable buffoon that wants to retain power in the building, you're going to stay away from Pete Carroll because you figure, hey, man, hold on, this guy might be problems. He might actually be trying to fix some stuff. Hold on. Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. But it's just one of the things that we see her do, man. When you want championships to happen, it's not going to happen by fault, family. You got to find people that have the key. A guy like Pete Carroll, and like I said, McCarthy's not my favorite candidate, but at least McCarthy does have a championship ring. He does have that, even though I wouldn't really want McCarthy here because I still feel like we need somebody that is with no nonsense. We need a no nonsense coach here that's not going to sit here and play games with these players. Hell, they done lost their way. Fam, listen to me. These people done lost their way. Even the players that used to want championships, they have dulled out severely. It's like having a knife that you're using over and over again, cutting stuff. Sooner or later, the knife is going to dull, which means you're going to need to have to sharpen that thing again. You got to get one of those sharpeners. You got to sharpen that knife so it cut like it used to cut when you first bought it. That's what's going on here. It's been so much losing. A lot of these players that are championship level players have fallen down so low. It's ridiculous. They've fallen to a great degree. In order to get up there to the echelon of winning again, you got to have a coach that's stubborn enough to keep them principles in mind and keep players accountable. A lot of our players have lost their way. They have. They have lost their way. They have lost their way. And I'm constantly calling these people out and saying, hey, man, shut up with all that stuff you talking about because it's foolishness. That's how I talk like that because it's the truth. I'm not playing. I like a lot of these guys. But at the end of the day, man, I got to keep it real, man. You're not just going to come onto this team and just collect a check and don't go all out. And then when you lose, you come with all these excuses. Bro, we not hearing that, man. We don't want to hear that. Shut up with all of that crap you talking and let's get the winning. And a lot of these players, they have lost their way. And that's the God's honest truth. They have lost their way. And if they're honest about it, they'll tell you that man right. That man right. He rough with his message, but that man's 1,000% correct. We have lost our way as a team. We don't know what we're doing. We don't have any true leadership here. There's no accountability. And all we really are doing is collecting checks from these people and not giving them the winning that they deserve as an organization and as a support base. That's facts. 1,000,000% facts. They've lost their way. A good coach that has a resume that can pull these players back, pull their minds using his gravity as a winning a coach that have been somewhere, won some stuff, could pull these people back to respectability. Some guy that don't know what he's doing can't do that. He trying to figure out on the fly with an old team. That's not going to work. We need to think about this thing. All World Trucker said another old coach is John Gruden. I don't think John Gruden, bro, is up for there's not been one team as of yet that have interviewed John Gruden for any position. Think about that. Everything that's been happening up to this point is rumors. I don't know. John Gruden is currently assuming the NFL right now. I don't think there's a position. If there was, it more than likely probably would be the Saints because the Saints are not afraid of anything. They had John Gruden here when he was beefed out with him, but he's currently under lawsuit against the NFL. I don't know if you can be suing the NFL viciously and going after its commissioner righteously, in my opinion, going after him, but being a head coach of the team that's, I don't know. But this is a unique circumstance, so I don't know, man. But as of right now, nobody has offered John Gruden an interview. Just think about that for a second as well. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for that.
I'm trying to say thank you very much, picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, yeah, this is the thing, man, that we have to deal with. So this is some of the stuff that some of the candidates that the Saints are dealing with. Let's look at some of this other stuff right here, because there's a few other candidates other people are interviewing with as well, fam, right? Like we span on this list, and this is Yahoo Sports that did this article. It's basically a tracker of interviews that is going on in the NFL between all of the teams that need coaching, right? And you can see some of these names right here, and some of these guys are not interviewing on everybody's list. Like you can see the Bears have, with Brian Flores, I think they interviewed him. They had, I don't want Arthur Smith, but this is just some of the name of the people interviewing in the coaching hire that could be possible. We don't know for certain, but Ryan Riviera, Thomas Brown, David Shaw was another guy that was linked to the Saints until he wasn't. Ben Johnson is obviously somebody that is probably one of the hotter names out there. Saints have no interest. Todd Monken, Robert Saleh interviewed with the Cowboys as well. So you see a few other people there, names, as you can see here with the Saints. So I don't know. Spagnola is up there looking for something. Vance Joseph is another guy that's looking at some stuff here. Josh McCown. This is just some of the people. Bobby Slowick, who was the tight ends offensive coordinator. I thought a lot of people would be after Bobby Slowick. I think he deserves a interview from the Saints. Just go and talk to him, man. See what he got going on. Just talk to these guys. But these are a few other people, as you can see right here. It's quite a few of them. Liam Cohen is the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers as well. So, I mean, like I said, these are some of the guys. Even Leslie Frazier got an interview from the Cowboys. Wow, Leslie Frazier. Really? But anyway, Jeff Ulbrich, who used to be the linebacker for the Niners back in the day, a bunch of teams. Brian Greasy was decline something. So I mean, these are a few of the names that's currently out there in the coaching hire that other teams have interviewed, in, as well as the Saints. As McCarthy is next up, sometimes next week, according to reports, even though it is not official. So all we can do in the time frame that we're dealing with is just make sure we pay attention to um, what heads in that direction. Right? We'll just do what we do. All right. Anyway, let's keep it pushing, man. Let's move on to this, man. Let's move on to the next section of the show. We kind of talk about what's going on with the Saints roster situation, right? We go over this from time to time, and this is just another update to kind of talk about with the Saints cap situation. This is over the cap as of right now. Saints in the red by over $52 million, fam. This is a part of the why the Glenn situation where he prefers the Jets versus the Saints, right? You know, you take a look at that cap situation, you be like, yeah, I can understand it. Saints' job wouldn't be, you know, so bad. You know, hold on, fam. Let me show y'all what the Jets are working with. Hold on. Because if you're a coach, you know that you can't be, fam, if you know, if you're in an area like I am in, where they got hurricanes that come through here from time to time and stuff like that, if you're looking to rebuild something, it's, you know, when you're looking to build a house or a business or anything, you can't build nothing without economic finances. You can't without finances, without money. You can't build anything. Everything, all progress will come to a grinding halt without money. You need capital to build. That's with anything. If you got a business, you got products, you need capital to be able to get products so you can sell said products to make a profit, which is more money. Then re-up again, so on and so forth. So this is something that you have to have. There is no rebuild without money. Look at this. Look at the Jet situation. Let me show you. Let me show the Jet situation. This is the kind of money they're dealing with, right? As of right now, according to Over the Cap, you can see that the Jets are almost $21 million in the black. That's a stark comparison to our New Orleans Saints, isn't it, family? That's a stark comparison to almost $20 million the Jets have in going into free agency versus negative 50, almost $53 million, thanks to Mickey Loomis, right? Who told them, and who told the people, and if y'all and family, if y'all didn't see that NFC South show, it was a very funny show, man. Y'all need to check that out, man. We got it. Y'all check it out. It's in the community tab, I want to say. But then again, y'all could probably pull it up on the main page, the platform page. Just go to whothatdaily.com. You can see it there. Good show, because what it was showing us was the fact that so many, the diversity and the economics of the team to be able to move forward. And so many people are in better straits than where we are. We're head and shoulders in the opposite direction. But 52, almost $52.3 million, the Saints are in the red. That would make it a difficult proposition for any respectable coach who would have to deal with that. Because if I'm a head coach and you're a head coach, you got to put your head coaching caps on. And you came to the New Orleans Saints organization and you said, hey, man, I like the team. I like the city, the energy of the city, this great people, yada, yada, yada. Man, listen, you know, how, you know, what is the direction? How can I fix the team? Because they're going to want to ask that. Well, hey, hold on. What is your, I'm interviewing, this Mickey Loomis interviewing. Well, come in first and foremost. Here's some Cafe Du Monde. You know, hold on here. Here's some coffee. You know, you can eat some of that. Hold on. Just don't touch that moistures right there. You know, that's my stuff. You know, hold on. That orange juice, that's gourmet orange juice. Oh, never mind all of that. What are you going to do to fix the team? I'll say, well, Mickey, thanks. First of all, you know, you can, I'm not going to eat no oysters and drink no orange juice. But listen, I'll tell you how I'm going to fix the team. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this, that, and third. Then you have to also factor in the fact that you're going to be minus $52 million. And that, fam, let's grasp that for a second. Let's get a hold of that for a second, because in order for you to get in the position to be like the Jets, to have money to spend, you're going to have to work deals. And the thing is, the Derek Carr deal, you're not going to want to touch that deal. That's what makes it more difficult, because Carr is sitting on the bulk of the money. You're talking about $30 million base salary and an $11.4 million signing bonus makes roughly about 40, what was that? About 44, somewhere in there. Man, listen, that's just his cap, that's just his base salary for this year. So whatever you're going to try to do, you have to be able to do it without touching him. Because if you touch his contract, which he says, listen, I'm not taking no pay cut. And there's like, man, who did Carr think he is? Drew Brees. I'm like, listen, Carr is doing exactly what Derek Carr is supposed to be doing. He's getting his money for his family. Now, in your position as the Saints, you're supposed to be making sure that you get fair value for whatever he's giving to you. So no, I'm not expecting Derek Carr to give you nothing back. He ain't supposed to. You're supposed to be astute enough to understand what you're doing before you make him sign that contract, and understanding whatever you need to put in there to protect you just in case things goes backwards. Saints not that smart. So Derek Carr is winning, and I'm not mad at Derek Carr for doing that. I'm not mad at Derek Carr for not taking less money. He said, you can restructure me. You can restructure me, which means that you're going to be tied to him in 2026. Saints are hesitant about doing that. So, because the reality is, whoever the coach is, he'll be tied to Derek Carr. But can Carr run his system? That'll be the whole point. We've seen two different systems since Derek Carr has been here. And by the way, I'm not fooled by the completion percentages, because a great deal of his passes when he plays a check down play. So you can miss me with that. I do film work and I know exactly what's going on. Some people just pay attention to the numbers that they throw and say, hey man, you got this going on. Y'all need to start watching these games for people that think like that. Every throw that Carr made since he been a Saint player, I done seen it. I know the majority of a lot of those throws, he checked down the ball at least 4 to 5 times a game. So that does help his completion rate goes up. A lot of that's not totally on Derek Carr. A lot of those plays were designed where he does that, which I'm against that, because I want my quarterback to be able to read defenses. That way he can see the better options. But it is what it is, right? But on the end, you would have to then work down from the $52.3 million hole that you are in. Let's just say it's a hole, because that's what it is. You're in a hole, 53 million, almost 52. I'm saying 53, but $52.3 million in the hole. You would have to climb up to the opening. And once you get up and stand on level ground out of the hole and look down on the hole, then you at zero. Get that? You're in a 52-foot hole, right? Let's just think about it like that. 52 feet in the ground. You climbing out of that. You on a ladder or whatever you're doing. You got a long ass ladder. You climb up out of the hole, and then you get to level ground. You stand on level ground. You at zero right there. Then you have to then say to yourself, okay, I'm at zero after climbing 52 feet out of that hole. Now I got to be about the business of climb or building up into the black to free up enough money to sign free agents and have enough money to sign draft picks and all that kind of stuff. How you going to do that? How much money you going to be left with after you do that? Some estimates says something north of $15 million, something like that. So we're going to see how this all goes, man. But this is a tough situation. And might I remember what Mickey Loomis said. Mickey Loomis says that he's what was his term? I made a joke about it because it was so ridiculous. He says, I'm comfortably uncomfortable. And I made a joke to the NFC South roundtable, and they found it hysterical that a guy would literally say, because I don't know if they ever seen that for their organization, seen a team that was $100 million in the red several years ago, and then went from 100 to 80 to 52.3 now. They were just cracking the F up. And he said, did he really say it? Yes, he did. That's progress to him. A toe up cap like that is progress. So like I said, it's all folly and ridiculous. And this does hurt what coaches you get, because a lot of coaches understand that in order to advance the team, they're going to have to do something about this. You got to look at the talent on the team and see if the talent on the team makes sense according to what your record is. And it doesn't, family. The great amount of money that is being spent are on older players that are past their primes and cannot be justified to have these old players on a team that's 5-12 and in the cellar when all of your opposition is younger and outplaying you. Remember, you split with Carolina this year. You split with Atlanta. You split with Tampa. You didn't dominate anybody. So this cannot be justified. So I'm saying this and I'm looking at this from a coaching experience, because if I'm a coach, and this is a coach with options, this ain't a desperate coach like a Rizzi, knowing he don't have any head coach prospects. The Jets talk to him. The Jets not going to pick up him. They're not going to do that. They got other candidates out there they're going to try to go and get. They really are. Brian Johnson's a strong candidate. A lot of them want Brian Johnson. He could be a strong candidate to go there, but these people have options. That's the point. Aaron Glenn has options. These guys are not going to decide on a lesser option. They got options. Only a guy with no options would take a situation where he's $52 million in the red and a team that is old, that's lacking a lot and not drafting well. They got a quarterback that he's stuck with that he can't get from up under. He can't even bring in his own guy. It's a lot. Like I said, the high cap and the fact that you have a quarterback that is that you might not want, that's tough. A guy with options is going to say, I don't know. Just saying. So it's many different ways to go about fixing this. But the thing is, you also have to deal with some pushback from the VPGM guy if you don't want Carr to be your guy. Word on the street is he wants Carr to be there. So that's another caveat to behold. But anyway, this is what it looks like. And for you to decide on, who's this, but look at the numbers here. Let's talk the numbers for a second. Look who's the top base salary. This is Derek Carr's $30 million with almost $11.5 million signing bonus that's attached to that thing. The next highest base salary in 2025, Cam Jordan, 12.5 mil plus 7.5 on the signing bonus. Taysom Hill at 10 million and 7.9 on the signing. Then it goes McCoy, DeMario, Ramczyk, who already been given his thing, and then it goes down from there. But as you can see, a lot of the money is tied to the Saints' older players. And also, dead cap has don't forget the dead cap, fam. Look at this number right here. Let me scroll all the way down here and hit you with this number. Look at this number. Look at this. This is the dead money the Saints still have wafering on their contract. Look at this. They owe Laddie Daddy 31.6 mil on dead cap. Michael Thomas 9.1 mil. Jameis is still on there, 7.3 for a grand total of $48.4 million in dead money. 48.4. Boy, if you had that back, you'll be already there. You'll already be there if you had some of that back, if you ain't have that dead money to deal with. Over $48 million in dead money. And these people know what they're doing. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff that you got to look at. It's just not the fact that we're looking at it because as diehards, we see our team a certain way. We got a certain sentimental value attached to this team because obviously it's our club. But if you go to other people that don't have sentimental value attached to it, they don't see it but as a business opportunity for them to be a head coach. And logically, asking yourself, how am I going to fix this? How what am I going to do here? Think about it. If you're a person if you're a CEO that got hired to take over a business that's failing, right? That's making bullcrap profits, how do you turn the business around? You do your research and find out where the issues are happening and figure out that, you do that before you take the job. You don't just go into it and just take a job. You might be going into something that's bad. So you find out all that information before you get into that position, and then you do your research and figure out, how am I going to fix that? Because some stuff you might have to just collapse it and begin again. It might be a house with termites in it. Some of that stuff you might not be able to. It might have been a house that had a fire, and you see what I'm saying? I'm using these construction terms, but it could have been. It's a reason why some of this stuff failed. Some of the stuff you might have a house with asbestos in it. Ain't no building on that. That's a whole nother set of problems. So what I'm saying is not every situation is buildable, right? You might have to burn it down to build it up again. You see what I'm saying? Or you just prolonging the inevitable. That's what the Saints are doing. The Saints are in denial because they don't have any vision. They don't have any vision. They're trying to hold on to a past that been and left them. That's like holding on to some old girl that or old guy that done left you. You're holding on for what? For what? There's no need. There's no need. Move on. This is what this is. They're holding on to a past that done long forgot them. That's why they're failing. They're living backwards. And that's why Mickey Loomis should be pulled of his position because he's living backwards. He has some weird nostalgia that is not paying off for him in wins and losses. In losses it is, but in wins it is not. This is real. This is real truth talk here, man. The Saints holding on to a past that long forgot them. They can't even win because they're walking backwards. They walking, looking forward, but walking backwards. It's just what it is. So can this be fixed? Yeah, it could be fixed, but it takes some real hard cold situations to kind of get down to getting it fixed. And we'll talk about this later on, man. But let's take a look at the free agents for the Saints right now. Right. This is who the Saints will have in terms of his free agency for 2025. Chase Young, Jawan Johnson, Peyton Turner, Willie Gay Jr., Tanu Passanio, Ali Udo, Lucas Patrick, Will Harris, Paulson Adebo, Adam Prentice. Then it goes to some of the backup guys like Huron, Hugo Amadi, Pettis, MBS, Lemieux, Jean Charles, Nephi Sewell, Landon Young, and Trajan Jeffcoat. All these guys, well, as of course you know, some of the bigger and brander names like a Chase Young, Jawan Johnson, who's the team starting tight end, Willie Gay Jr., who was mostly who was very needed there. He didn't have the type of season we anticipated, but he was available in majority of the games. Will Harris, who was special. Will Harris was a great addition for the Saints. Paulson Adebo. So we have some guys like Paulson and Chase Young who really are at that top of the list of who do you decide on who's to be kept and how much money will there be once all of the situation is aired out. So it's not an easy situation to behold. That's why I'm saying whoever the coach is going to be, I don't know how if you wanted to keep a Chase Young, and how the Saints operate. The crazy part about it is the only way to do that is if you tie these people up just like he been doing. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way to do it. Because when you play the games that we've been playing, eventually it come back home. It's gonna come back home to you. All this stuff is gonna bear itself. All darkness done it, all stuff done in the dark, coming to the light. And the Saints are in the light, and all they're doing is making excuses for why this is going on. How do you retain some of your better players if you're $52 million in the red? You see, how do you do it without tying these players to you in a way you can't afford them? So what you do is you then play the game that Loomis been playing for years and tied the Saints up. You keep reworking this thing, and then in 3 years from now, 25, 26, 27, you get 200 something odd million back because a lot of this money is falling off. So that's what he's looking for. That is his key out of the cap hell. In his mind is 27. The year 27, a lot of this falls off and you get like 200 something odd million dollars back. And then you'll be from up under the cap hell for the first time. And I don't know however long it's been, in a long time. That's what Mickey Loomis' philosophy is. That's what's driving him to keep some of these people on team, because he understands that the team has to remain competitive. So they make money so that you keep going up there giving them money for $20 nachos and $15 popcorn or whatever that craziness is up there. I don't understand how people ain't just bark back at that. How you paying $20 for nachos, man? It's how y'all doing? How you doing it? That don't even make any sense. Is the cheese got gold leading into it? I mean, how you paying $20 for some nachos? $15 beer. A bottle you can go and buy at the store for half the cost. Them people is straight ganking us, man. And we stood up there saying, "Go!" You look like a first grade. You look like a first grade moron doing that, man. Come on, bro. We got to put this together, man. You can't let people play you like this, man. Where my people's at on this, man? Where we at? Where my people at on this, man? Y'all knowing this is I've been hitting them with that $20 nachos for why they paying $20 for nachos and $15 for popcorn. Who do that? Who do that at? They banking out big time. The beer double the cost. It ain't supposed to be like that, man. They don't need money like that. We done gave them all of the tax breaks. You pay for their utilities. Goddamn, you built a training facility. The land that they have up there was donated to them. Come on, man. What more you gonna give them? And I can understand from that perspective why they act the way they act. They don't have to do nothing. Just show up and you there. We at some point, man, I'll tell you, man, at some point, man, I've been saying this shit for years and they just ignore it. Cause I'm not even like I don't reach the point where I don't even talk to these zealots, man. I don't that's why I say it's the great saint think tank. I want people that actually use this thing and not somebody that's a zealot that's just doing it. Don't you understand they're taking advantage of you, man? Don't you understand that? They're taking advantage of you. Crazy, man. But this is what we got to deal with in terms of the players. If they want to Chase Young, and they do want Chase Young, that's why they didn't trade him with Laddie Daddy. They want Chase Young. So they'll have to re-up with Chase Young. They're going to let Peyton Turner walk unless Peyton Turner can come back to the team cheap. Jawan Johnson, I believe, is out of here. They'll have to probably end up reversing unless he decides to come back at a cheaper rate because the Saints can't really break these guys off. Maybe they got a couple of their own they want to pay for. Paulson the Debo's a guy they might want to keep around. Well, Laddie Daddy gone now. You got, is Paulson the guy when healthy? Could he shoulder the load as CB1? You got Alante CB2. I mean, you got Alante there. You got Kool-Aid McKinstry there. Do they want to go in a different direction on that? What do they do? You gonna let Paulson walk for nothing? Now that's a first grade starter right there. So the Saints are compelled. Maybe they sign Paulson, maybe they sign Chase, maybe they bring back Will Harris, or maybe they draft somebody else. They got questions that need to be answered rather, for what's going to go on with some of their better players going into this upcoming free agency cycle. But it all goes back to what the Saints can do in terms of getting in back to the black and then into the black up, meaning building up to whatever the surplus is going to be in terms of having the money to be able to construct and operate like the way you're supposed to. There is no other way that they're going to do this except by doing the same thing they've been doing, family, which is Mickey Loomis economics. Q, is he ever not going to do that? All I can tell you is I can see what he's doing. He's going to keep tying them up until 27. When 27 hit, let me show you. Let me just show you here. I got this screen. Watch this. This will be a good indicator for you. 25 year, this is 52.3. This is what it looks like in 26. It's at 60 million in the black for 26, right? But that's all based on this number, because as this number drops to the black, this number rises into the red. It rises to the red. So whatever you do in 25, it has a direct hit in 26. And that will continue to happen until it doesn't matter anymore. And then when you get to 27, you can see the noticeable difference in cap. And that is what he's trying to do. That is what he's trying to do. He's going to play games until he gets to 2027. And at this point, when you got $221+ million in the black, you basically have a team that is going to be totally new. You're going to have most of these players are going to be gone that you're familiar with. You're going to have a whole new team of younger players. And then you will then begin your rebuild into at the bottom, like Carolina did theirs. They've been over the last couple of years suffering with young players in an effort for them to be built up, or what Atlanta's doing with the young quarterback situation to rebuild that, or the build up of the young talent that they've been going through the last couple of years. They're going to start bearing fruit as you move forward, as you're now at the bottom of the, you'll be at that point. They were 2 years ago. You'll be yours in 27. Unless they do something drastic and add somebody to the team that costs a ridiculous amount of money, right? So this is what he's shooting at. And I've showed y'all this before, and I just wanted to kind of make y'all aware of that. That's the game plan. So if I got to tie players up this year and next year, then that's what I do because I know I have the surplus on 27, regardless of what happens. You see? So anyway, big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Much love to the fam, man. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Listen, I'm gonna take a few questions from the chat before I get on up out. If y'all got any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. And like I said, I'll do my best to answer them because right now, like I said, this is it's simply what it is in terms of Saints economics. This is what it is. Like it or lump it. Face the facts. Face the truth. It's sweet in the mouth, but sour in the belly. But hey, man, truth come to make you strong. That's what truth is about, man. That's why I'm like looking at. I'm like, man, this is what it is. Commonsensically, truth comes to make you strong. Ain't no other point ever that truth comes to depower you or disenfranchise you or to ruin you. When you get the truth is something that is supposed to raise your conscious level up another degree or two. It's supposed to, because you get something, because at some point you asked for the truth and it was delivered to you. You might not have gotten it immediately, but it did come to you eventually. And you're saying, well, why did I get this? Because you asked for it. You only get things that you ask for. Just saying, whether you're saying it as a verbal confession or a verbal utterance or mental, regardless or not, you're going to get what you ask for and what you think, baby. That's game. That's game. So whatever situation that happened, like what the Saints are going through with all this, is because this is what they had. This is what they bargained and they played games and all this kind of stuff. And it came back to bite them. So right now, this is where we are, and this is what we got to do to get back to prominence. So number one is you got to find a head coach that's willing to deal with all of this and have the answer to how to fix it. That's the thing. And Aaron Glenn's been here. He's not exactly new to this. He's not a Cliff Kingsbury type who doesn't know the Saints organization. Like, they don't have any connection or pipeline to a Cliff Kingsbury, which would make a very interesting hire, to be honest with you. They have a connection to McCarthy. He's been here before. They have a connection to Aaron Glenn. He's been here before. They got a connection to Joe Brady. He's been here before. They got a connection to some of these guys. The Kellen Moore dude, they don't have any pipeline to Kellen Moore. The Cliff, like I said, with Cliff Kingsbury, he's interesting. Matt Nagy, somebody threw Matt Nagy out there. He's interesting. You see what I'm saying? But that's what you need right now. You need somebody that's going to be here that's not tied to this, that vision is not blurred about what they need to do to correct it, that have no loyalties to people in that building, that can come in and clean the slate if they got to, tell the truth, chop this off, that off, get rid of this, all this kind of stuff. You don't need people coming in here being friends with other people. We don't need that. You're a 5-win team. None of that. I don't care about any of that. They got to go. You got to go as a player. If you're a part of this 512, you're making all this kind of money and all you're doing is sit up here telling people to have faith. You got to go, player. You have faith to know that employment line going to serve you well if you kept your money right. That's what we about. And we ain't about all that. I'm about winning, man. That's what I want to do. I want to win. Not about no excuses. I'm not about any of that stuff. I want to win. This is the NFL. We are tired of being embarrassed by these performances. We're sick of the excuse about injuries when everybody have them. I'm tired of these people using excuses all the time. I can pull up every last one of Mickey Loomis end of the season pressers for the last 3 years, and he says the same damn thing every year. It's injury. He said it this year. He said it last year, and he said it the year before. If you go further back, he says it every year that the Saints failed is due to injuries. He says it every year. Every year he's saying excuses. When are we going to stop doing that? Huh? At some point, you should have fixed it while he's sitting in front of a national health banner that did you sign the contract on, complaining about team injuries. And it's insane. Or then why you keep signing with these people? They're not working for you in that regard. If that's the case, why are you signing with Oshner Health? Now, Oshner Health, the sports medicine side needs some work, obviously, because they work with the Pelicans too, and the Pelicans is banged up too. They just got back healthy. But if you got a whole health network behind you, ain't nowhere in the world you're supposed to be having all that going on. There is no way. There is no way that's supposed to be going on like that. No, not with all them resources and all that technology. Hell no. They're supposed to be cutting edge. If you have all these soft injury issues, there's a way to get that. You can Google that right now. How to prevent soft tissue injuries. You can pull that up right now. They got data on how to do it. You see what I'm saying? There's answers to every question. That man said we got to look into it. He's not going to look into anything. Like I said, he's not going to give you an in-season evaluation either. That's not going to come. So whatever he was supposed to do, the in-season evaluation aspect of what was supposed to happen, there won't be another press conference breaking none of that down. There never is. You don't feel like he have to be accountable to you and give you no answer at all, and that's a problem. But that's not their fault. That's your fault. You shouldn't let nobody treat you like that and get away with it. And that's why, as a collective, enough is enough. I'm putting my foot down and I'm saying what I'm saying because I'm tired of it. It's time for a change, fam. Rock with me on that. All right, so big ups to the fam, man. Let me get a few people and I'm going to get on up out of here. Willie, shout out to Willie Matoya. I hope I'm saying that right, Willie. Says, do you think Gail still believes in Loomis? She obviously does, man. There was some information that did come out that Gail went over her head to fire him, but then when she stepped up to the line, you got to step over the line and continue the stuff that happens. You can't sit up here and override Loomis's decision on firing or keeping Dennis Allen, right? Because he wanted to keep Dennis Allen. He made it no secret about it, that he didn't apologize for nothing. The reporters gave him an opportunity during the end of the season presser, and this is them. It's crazy. People will send me comments and say dumb shit to me about the Saints, like I'm doing it. These people are retarded, man. I told these people from the get-go, I said, hey, listen, fam, let me tell y'all something, man. That's them doing that. And I'm telling you about what they doing it, and I don't agree to it. And they act like I'm doing it, like Q's in the building making dumb decisions for the Saints. No, I'm not. I'm not in there making any decisions. I'm against what they're doing. But I'm the face of why they're failing to many people. I'm like, that don't make any sense, fool, because I've been calling this out. Even when people were making excuses for them before while they were making excuses for themselves, they had a double role of excuse protection. The Saints were making excuses for themselves and people were making excuses for the Saints. Now, one of those roles have dropped because of people just running through the wall like myself. And now that you see that all they doing is want to make money off of you, then at some point, I'm not the face of why the Saints are failing. I'm the opposite. I want the opposite. I don't want failure. I don't like excuses. I believe in accountability. And that's how we need to live. Saints are not doing that. They don't care about no accountability. They don't care about anything but money. That's obvious. They smiling when Mickey Loomis did that press conference. He talked about he was upset. That some bitch sat up there and smiled all that time. He was smiling and all the whole joking and playing all the time like they just won 12 games. They were 5-12, and what you smiling for? Oh, well, I'm supposed to be mad? Yes, you're supposed to be mad. Yes, just like we are. You're supposed to be upset. This ain't no way to run no team, but you're not upset because you're making money. You're never going to be upset until you take the money away from them. That's what making them happy. That's the key source. You know that. You know what you need to do. But yeah, she came up to the line, Willie, and then did not make any moves. She did not take the job away from Loomis. Only thing she had to do, and it wasn't hard, was to take Loomis's general manager title and give it to Kai. That's all she had to do. And that would have created a ripple effect throughout the organization where he would be the general manager. He would decide on how to fix the cap situation, who to hire as the coach. It would be within his power. That would have been one simple move before we even get to kicking out Dennis Lauscher from being a team president and giving him some other job where he can conduct business for the Saints and hire an actual president that know about football. Before we even get there, that one move would help. She got right up to the line, walked away because they don't want to rock the boat because they're making money. That's what it's about. She doesn't know. She doesn't know, doesn't care. And that's what they're doing. So you have to, just like you forced them to force Dennis Allen out, you know what you got to do. Shout out. Thank you, Willie, for this one. All right, Anthony says, I don't care what y'all say. Aaron Glenn's defense got killed yesterday. Goddamn. Yeah, Anthony, you ain't by yourself, man. There's other people. Brother Derek White's with you on this one. Derek believes that Aaron Glenn is not the answer for the Saints head coaching job. A lot of people like Aaron Glenn. I like Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn's a good coach. But the thing is Aaron Glenn, a lot of people say, yeah, he's ready to be a head coach. That's fine. But there's levels to this. And I'm saying, what kind of coach? Like when you come to New Orleans, we're an old team that wants to win right now. Can you guarantee we're going to win right now? Are you guaranteeing we're going to win right now? Because if you hire an inexperienced coach, we're going into a rebuild. They just going to lie and tell you that they're not. We're trying to compete. They're going to tell you that. If you hire an inexperienced young coach as your quarterback, just know that signals a rebuild, that they're going into a rebuild without telling you they are, right? So they keep the sales, the tickets up, the money up. If they hired an older, experienced coach like, say, a Pete Carroll or Mike McCarthy, that lets you know that they still believe that with this team, they could compete right now. So the hire will tell you even everything you need to know. If Aaron Glenn is indeed the hire, and they want Aaron Glenn because of his connection to the organization, which is foolish, you shouldn't be even considering that. It should be the fact that what philosophy and answers does the player have, or the person have, rather, that can fix your team. But Mickey Loomis doesn't know what he's doing. He's an idiot. He's a moron, and he's going to hire whoever he's comfortable with, which is wrong. Watch, anytime you have a guy like that, no direction, no vision, he's not going to hire or interview the correct people. He's going to interview only people that agree to what he wants to be done with the team. The cap situation is under his control. The QB situation is under his control. And whoever gets the job will have to agree to some of that stuff, a large degree of that. Some of these other guys ain't going to agree with that because they have options. So the head coaching hire will tell you everything you need to know about which direction the Saints going in, right? But yeah, Gail she's over with, man. She's a major part. At first, it's like you have an opportunity because you can get educated. Even if you have to go to a firm and hire people, or hire your own advisor and just have them to come in and look over these teams, and then come back with a status report about what's going on based on, what they see. You can hire somebody to come and evaluate. You can bring in a sort of a comptroller, to come in and look over things and make sure things are running the way they're supposed to. Most businesses do that all the time. They hire somebody to come in and look around to see if the business can be ran more efficiently. You see what I'm saying? She has all those options. She ain't do nothing but gave it back to him. And he was the one that tore it up. Makes no sense. And then disappears back to these charities. Well, you're part of the problem. And the Aaron Glenn thing, we'll see, fam. We'll see about Aaron Glenn. They're going to hire who they're comfortable with. That's why he shouldn't be hiring nobody. That's why people are like, why are we doing this with Mickey Loomis? He doesn't know what he's doing. What's to stop him from hiring another Dennis Allen? Nothing, really. Nothing. Brandon says the next head coach won't be tired, won't want to be tied to the hip with Carr the next 2 years. Thank you. Anthony says Kingsbury exposed Aaron Glenn defense. Wow, great job, Cliff Kingsbury. Indeed. Cliff Kingsbury's numbers are shooting up. The Saints had the interview, like I just showed, he postponed it. So, we'll see. Youngblood said, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Yes, he is. He said, I'd like to see him go through a full training camp with the Saints. I'm for them bringing back, if they can afford it, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't think it'll be expensive. MVS and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to me, would be great additions back to the Saints. MVS, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed would be excellent. Those guys in a full Saints training camp together with Clyde Edwards-Helaire backing up Elvin Kamara and Kendre Miller would be phenomenal. I like that altogether. I like it a lot. I really do. That would be absolutely phenomenal to have those guys here, man. MVS, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed. Because the problem was Chris Olave, I'm not calling him a number one, but he looks better. Imagine what he looks like when MVS is on the other side and you put Rashid in the slot. What could you do with that? That's 3 fast wide receivers that are experienced running around on the football field for you, then AK and all this kind of stuff. That would be phenomenal, and I don't think it'll be that expensive to have MVS or Clyde Edwards-Helaire to come back. I'm for that. I'm for those guys. Clyde, MVS, Chris Harris, those guys coming back. I don't think they'll break the bank to come back. I like those guys. I think they would definitely help. 504 Coach said, I just believe we got to get aggressive and move up for QB in this year's draft, this year or next year. You only got 2 guys. You're talking about moving up. They're going to get, I guess, in the first round. You're talking about there's 2 quarterbacks currently that have a first round grade, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, Deion is not going to let his son come to New Orleans. That's just, I know that. He's looking at other places. But Sanders, Shedeur, and Cam Ward, and some people actually like Cam Ward over Shedeur in some prospects circles, scouting circles. But in the end, those are the top 2 quarterbacks. Now they'll have some other guys later on in the draft that you can look at, like 2 and back. You know, you got Ewers and later on Jackson Dart, and it's another dude that's interesting, very talented. There are several quarterbacks lesser in there, but I don't know if you would call those guys franchise quarterbacks. We just keep drafting quarterbacks, right? Until we get it right, right? H Town says the players they draft and develop are all pro or pro bowlers on other teams. They are over the cap. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen a lot of that happening, and Mickey Loomis addressed that, right? So, Brandon says it might get to the point where this whole team ends up with dudes in their 20s. It will be. If you look at that 2027 situation I showed you when they $200 million, all these old players are going, man. You're going to have a new team. That's how close. People don't realize that. This is how close you're at the line. I've been saying this over the last several years. When I talked about timelines, the 4-year timeline, that's over with. They failed. They had a project going on, and Dennis Allen's supposed to head this team for 4 years. The project failed, and they accepted no accountability for anything. They just blamed it on injuries. Nobody paid for no mistakes. Nobody did anything. They just sat up here and told you to have faith. They just sat up here and told you that we can get it right. Nobody took any issue. Nobody had any accountability. Nobody took any arrows or bows for things that was done or said. Mickey Loomis defiantly set up at that press conference and told you that he was not backing down off comments he made about Dennis Allen, even though he was 1,000% wrong on him. He refused to back down on him. What are you supposed to do with that? When you habitually and consistently choose wrong and make mistakes, but you don't pay for it. And then when I force you, I come up here and I label out your mistakes, you get mad. They get mad at me for saying that. They got idiots out here that actually get mad at me for telling the truth about the Saints. And I'm a diehard out here. Right? And it's so ridiculous, man, because don't you get mad at the asshole that screwed up the team and put him $50 million in the red. Get mad at the dude that don't take no accountability for nothing that happens. Even though he hired wrong coaches, he refuses to take responsibility for bad hires, bad drafts, bad everything. He refuses. They don't say nothing about that. They're just sickos, man. Crazy. It's just insane. People crazy, man. When you do this as long as I've been doing it, you got people out here sick, man. He's sick in the head, man. I don't know how they function from day to day. The logic all messed up. Most of them don't even have a logic. Most of them operating on emotional mind. They don't have any balance at all. Can't figure out nothing. Can't put 2 feet, 1 foot ahead of the other. I don't know how they operating, fam. And it's simple stuff you got to get. Giovanni says, Q, I think Nephi Sewell played pretty decent. I would retain him if possible. Yes, he's a good special teams guy for us. And I don't think it'll be incredibly difficult to do that, Giovanni. Shout out to you. Hemisphere says they have to let some of these name players go. Cam, Taysom, DeMario. Some of these guys got to go. I said it, fam. I got, like I said, this is business. This is good business for the team, because if you cannot, it don't make any sense to have all these guys if you got a 5-win team. That's 5-12. There's no need to justify an old team if you're the seller team and they got younger teams that's winning, that got better, that's operating better than you do. That makes no sense. But did he get blamed? Did he get his ass kicked for that? Did he get blasted and pressed for that? No. Who make these guys? Who's holding these guys to accountability? The answer is none of them people are. It's you. It's me sitting up here trying to holding these people accountable. Mickey Loomis is convinced that this is a 1 to 2 year fix. LOL. This guy is crazy, man. Like we said, this guy's a maniac. He's a lunatic. He's out of his mind. You know what I'm saying? He don't have, it's not a 1 or 2 year fix. This is over with. Operation over. You had a 4, and I kept saying this for years. You had a 4-year timeline. That's over with. The players are at the back end of these agreements. They're not going to get any better. You have to build up the team. It has to be a huge situation where you start drafting well. You have to be smarter with the money. You're 5-12. You're in the cellar. You're heading in the opposite direction. That showed everything we need to know, right? H-Town says ATL paid Cousins $94 million for 14 games. They're not, but next year, the reality is they can get from up under them next year. So, I mean, we can't say that, can we? Brandon says, I just hope we cut Carr, try to get Justin Fields to compete with Rattler for the starting job. Try to convince Mickey about that, bro. Mickey is delusional. Even a local reporter said Mickey doesn't think it is as bad as it is, but it's very bad. Yeah, indeed, bro. I mean, what could you do? Wyo says, Q, would you give Cliff Kingsbury another chance? Yes, I would. I would interview him and see what his thought process on this. I think he got something positive going on. Remember, the key to it is we need innovation. We need an offensive. And listen, like I said, I want an offensive minded person that's innovative. We need innovation here, offensively speaking. We also need somebody that's going to be accountable. Defensively, I think we'll be fine. But we need to have an offensive minded person that understands that they got to have strong line play, offensively and defensively. That's what we need. We couldn't stop the run consistently. We couldn't run the ball. When the quarterback struggle, we could not run the ball. And different times we could not protect the quarterback. You cannot not be able to run the ball. You can't, you get what I'm saying? You cannot not run the football. You have to run the football to have success, to take the pressure off the quarterback. You have to run the ball. That is not an option. You have to get into your play action. So you have to have strong offensive line play. The Saints line sucked for the majority of the season. It did. And it wasn't just because of injury. Your backups sucked. They were terrible. Ali Udo was on his team the entire year. He was awful. Landon Young was awful. All those backups were terrible. And the starters, you had two inexperienced tackles there that did the best that he can do. You know, Cesar Ruiz was mediocre. And McCoy, besides the first two games and a few plays in the back of the season, was inflicted with injury. He wasn't even healthy out there, which goes to show the Saints didn't even have a backup center option when he got hurt, which was totally, how do you do that? How do you not have a backup center? Like if the center goes down, the guy knows the same stuff can go in there and do the same thing. How do you have one dude that can do one thing? And then when he leaves, everybody's like, where do we go from here? How do you even do that? How does that work? The guy that's backing up him supposed to know he might not have the same talent he has, but he's supposed to know the same things that he knows. So it keeps it moving. How did they do that? But none of that will be discussed from the Saints, how they screwed that up. That's up to you and me to talk about that kind of thing. This is real game. This is what we've seen. They'll never say that. They never will say it, right? But yeah, Kingsbury, we need somebody with some innovation, man. If Kingsbury has a real chance that the Commanders can take it to the bowl, they can get there. With Jaden Daniels, the running attack, the defense, they can take it there. They can get there. And this bodes well for him to be able to have a rookie quarterback that he helps catapult him to that high level. That's why he shut everything down and concentrate on it. If this work out the right way, he's going to be very sought out there. So it's a good strategy by Cliff Kingsbury, and it does show the fact that he was able to redesign in terms of his offense from what he's done before offensively in Arizona to get to this point, right? And of course, Jaden Daniels does help. But it's going to be interesting, man, to say the least. Mad Drummer says, Rattler, Kingsbury, did we interview him yet? No, he shut it down. He shut everything down. It's easy to fix offense with teams running RPOs with a mobile quarterback. Get Joe Brady and draft both lines of scrimmage. Get rid of the old. I hear you, bro. Hemisphere says, well, this is what you get when you allow Rattler to run your team. A rat. Okay, a rat. Yeah, to run your team. And DA is the rat. All he did was tear the team up. He had help, bro. Brandon Reese says, are we in the only division where we don't have a top 10 QB and we still win it the last 4 years? Interesting. Jack says Oshner wealth banner. Yes, indeed. That was the problem. We talking about injuries. If you go back, homework, give you some homework. When you get off of here, fam, when the show's over, and if you remember to, do some homework. Go to YouTube and put in end of the season press conference for the New Orleans Saints and go back 4 years and listen to what Mickey Loomis says each year. Every year he said it. I'm going to probably do it on the stream, upcoming stream down the line, just to show the point that they're saying the same stuff. That's why, and I sit up here, I list all these interviews. That's how I can recant all this stuff over and over again to you guys and tell y'all about timelines and everything. I don't forget what they say. They think that you forget, but I don't forget the timelines and the stuff that they told us when they brought these guys in here. I don't forget none of that. You think you're going to pivot away for it and then don't have any responsibility for the failure of it? That's what they want. They want all of the reward, but none of the risk. Where they do that at? How you want all of the credit but don't want none of the blame for what goes wrong? They want all of the credit and none of the blame. Where they do that at? Where does that happen at? In the New Orleans Saints building. That's where it happens at. Brandon says we run out of if we miss out on Glenn, go get Brady, cut Carr, go get Justin Fields to compete with Rattler, and start trying to load up on both sides of the ball. Chantel says, Q, who did you honestly think Delusional Mickey is going to pick a head coach in your opinion? Thinking Aaron Glenn is number one, and if it's not Aaron Glenn, it probably will be Joe Brady. That's probably what it's going to be. If it's not Aaron Glenn, more than likely, it probably will be Joe Brady. I don't think Mickey Loomis. I don't know if he waits for Clint Kingsbury to have an opportunity, but I think that's probably how it'll play out. If Kingsbury or nobody else is brought in for interviews, because all we know is Mike McCarthy. He's also a chip there that you got to throw in because of connection and familiarity. So we'll see. All right. Hemisphere says Q. They said everyone in Saints executives was there at Washington press conference, but Mickey wasn't there. That don't mean much, bro. You know, Mickey, he ain't in a lot of places most of the time. Jack said if Gail was going to start on accountability after she stepped over, Mickey said she would have slapped him publicly for continuing to support DA. They didn't. Nobody gets blamed for anything. They get away with bad decision makings. They don't get the blame for nothing that they do wrong. You see that yet? That's a problem. That means accountability does not exist there. If you don't take blame for things that you did wrong, if you don't take blame for it, there's no accountability there. It's no accountability. You can't win without no accountability. You need accountability to win. You can't run a football team with no accountability. It won't work. It won't work. Well, people can make excuses and get away with it, like what Derek Carr was doing when they was asking him about, Jeff Duncan was asking him a couple of years ago about how do they fix the offensive issues. Derek Carr told them people the answers is in the building. Then Jeff Duncan said, what are the answers? I can't tell you. They're in the building. What? What's the answers? They had no answers. And they failed that year. They failed this year. They went actually worse than what they were the year before. So when accountability is not there, you don't hold anybody's feet to the fire. And when you try to hold their feet to the fire, they got people that come out and say that you are too rough on them. What? It's insane, man. It's insane. Brandon says it's easy for Loomis to be cocky and arrogant since he's in Tom Benson's will. I keep hearing the will stuff, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with it, because to this day, even if he might be there, that he still can be demoted. Like, say for instance, this is Gail. Gail doesn't care like that. Like, it got to a fever pitch where we forced her hand. But listen, let's not make this any mistake about this commentary. Is the fact that she doesn't give a damn. Neither does Mickey Loomis. I still don't understand how you was smiling up at that end of the season press conference, and your team is 5-12 and $52 million in the red. How you smiling? How how you up there smiling like you just finished with 11 wins or a playoff bid? After how's that? How's that work? And that's it. They don't need to be. He says they don't need to fire the president. No, they definitely need to fire the president, bro. Now, but I get your point. They don't need to move. Lauscher does good business. He is not who you what you want as a team president. You want a guy that knows football. And the reason why I'm pushing that is because you need somebody that knows what the guy that's underneath you is doing, so you can keep them accountable. See, all I'm about is accountability. I want accountability everywhere. That's how you keep people on code. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. You have what you got now. But Lauscher could be rebranded into something else, but you still need a team president that knows football so he can check Loomis, the guy that he's the boss of, to make sure he's doing his job. I need to at least know what he's doing so I can keep him accountable. That's the point about the Lauscher thing. He doesn't know that. The reporters know he don't know, and I didn't prove that to y'all. The guy don't know what he's doing. But he's president of both teams, the Saints and the Pelicans, despite the fact that he don't know nothing about basketball or football on the courts or the fields. He don't know. Brandon says, besides McCarthy and Kingsbury, most of our candidates are inexperienced head coaches. They are, but you can expand your pool if you make it Loomis. You're just too comfortable. Time to get rid of the big contracts. Cartel says, Q, we already in the rebuild either way. Yes, just read the room. We need a change in general. I'd rather go with a college coach like Oregon head coach. These other coaches already failed. Move on. I don't know, bro. I get you. I agree with you, Cartel, that you are in the rebuild year. Yeah, you are rebuilding. The Saints went to 12 losses on the year. What NFL's oldest team, that's they are not from a mental or organizational standpoint going to sell you on a rebuild. They're not going to do it not because they don't know how to, because Mickey Loomis has these delusions that the team is better than what they think they are, where if you don't have the coach to propel the team, then you're going to get mediocre results. It's just what it is, right? But it makes no sense for a team to be this old and this bad and to justify keeping them. They all need to go. You would be what you are, a 4 or 5 win team, if you didn't have those guys, wouldn't you? Think about it. If you didn't have those guys, you have all of these guys this year at some point or other, and the best you can do is 5 wins. You would be, without those guys, you would be a 4 or 5 win team. Think about that. You're spending a lot of bad money around here. You really are. It's crazy. Simmons Q, if I swear, I hear someone, he says, let me say it again. I swear, Q, if I hear anyone say anything about the Saints winning the division, let alone the Super Bowl next season, they are delusional. They are delusional. Mad Jump says, Q, something tells me we're not going to have a bad of a season that a lot of people think we'll have, and I think we may win this year's draft. Well, I hope so, bro. I mean, listen, the key to it is at some point, you're going to get from up under the money. The money's going to disappear because it's designed that way. The contract's eventually going to run out. These players are old, and Mickey Loomis is going to be against getting rid of them or trading them because they will organically disappear. That's the philosophy. Even though he hadn't said that he hasn't said anything to that line, but I'm telling you that because it's clear to read. It's not hard to tell, fam, what they're trying to do, man. It's very clear, right? Very clear. Young says, Q, would you take a DAR as a QB coach? I don't know what that is, bro. I don't know what that is, bro. H-Son says, Q said a rebuild or win right now. DA's Saints been in rebuild mode. Y'all just didn't know it. Bro, listen. It just been what it is, man. Like if you have an old team, and listen, and the thing is, none of this was a plan, bro. This is the point. And I hear what y'all saying, man. Y'all right on the rebuild thing. But this is the point. When you're spending this kind of money on old people, the issue is that there's supposed to be some type of leadership, right? There's supposed to be some type of leadership. And we've seen that. Demario Davis, I like Demario. I like Tyrann Mathieu. I like these guys off the field. But on the field, it's just not working. It's just not working. And the reason why it's not exclusively to the players, it's the coaches. The coaches were bad. And I ain't talking about my positional coaches. I'm talking about the head coaches. Head coaches don't have no head. He don't have no brains. The GM don't have any brains. He doesn't have any brains. He doesn't have any brains. Come on. He doesn't have any brains. Who would do that? Who would hire a guy like that, let him tear up the team? Doesn't realize there are cracks and fractures in the team. Doesn't iron out any wrinkles. Doesn't do anything. He just sits up there and allows the team to fail and come out and just make a bunch of excuses that don't want to apologize for nothing. I'm done with that guy. I'm sick of these people, man. Really sick. John says, in DQB, he says, I don't think we need to use more than a 4th round for him. Then you're saying the Notre Dame QB? All right, thank you. Giovanni says, man, Q, would you rather move an elite defense? He said, would you rather have, what I say move for, have an elite defense or an elite? I like an elite offense, bro. I would rather have an elite. That's the easy one. I'd rather have an elite offense. Elite offense. That's, you ask me that 10 times, I will ask you 10 times the same way. Elite offense. I want an elite offense. Elite offense, hands down. Brandon says if Tat McMillan is still on the board at pick 9, I wouldn't mind drafting him. He's 6'5", 212. Average is like what, over 15 yards per catch. Tat McMillan's awesome, man. but it depends on your grading. Like a lot of people saying, draft the best player, DBA, draft best player available. Me personally, I'm looking at trying to improve my line, man. If I can get a top lineman fall to me, like if the defensive tackle from Graham, the big guy from Michigan, falls to me, I'm taking him. If I can get one of them top two tackles, I'm taking them. I have to build my line. I know I love the skill players is one thing, but that doesn't mean anything if you don't have a line to protect the quarterback. How is Ted McMillan supposed to get the ball? How is he supposed to get it? With the quarterback on his back, scrambling for his life. And you got a scary one. All right. CH Town says high draft failures and mid-round picks of great players on other teams. All right. Willie says make a Fire Loomis shirt. I ain't wasting my time, brother. All right. Well, Derek says I would say the team Ben and Park. Yeah, yeah. Carla says, what's up, Q? What's up, Carla? Shout out to you, baby. Linda, what's up, Linda? Says I need a new QB for the next 10 years. Anyone but Justin Fields. He's less than one touchdown per game and as many interceptions as TDs. He actually chokes in the red zone. Thank you for that, Linda. Appreciate that. Mr. O says, yeah, but Saints don't have a JD5. Would be nice to see Rattler work out, but that depends on the coach. This is very true. Very true. Says Washington was 4-13 last year and got the number 2 pick in the draft. Since Saints went 5-12 with the 9th pick. Tough year in NFL for wash your mouth teams. I wouldn't be surprised if McCarthy ends up in Chicago. Yeah, they were going to whine. I seen some reports that came out that said they were looking to wine and dine Mike McCarthy. So yeah, he has a lineage up there in that division. He was Green Bay's guy for what, like 18 years? How long was McCarthy with the Packers? And he beat the Bears a lot of times in those 15 to 18 years or whatever it was that he was the head coach at Green Bay. It was a long time up there. So he knows that division. And he beat Chicago many times. I'm not surprised that they like McCarthy up there. He knows the division. Yeah, we'll see. I even still say who's going to win, who's going to want this job after an upset coach like if the upstart coach like a Brady or Riz. I don't know, bro. We'll wait and see what it comes down to. Right now, it's a lot of stuff going on. Linda says PFF scores worst Saints players: release Cam, Matthew Shepard, Juwan Johnson. You want to release Alante Taylor too? She got Williams, JT Gray. JT's a Pro Bowler. Turner, Orgy, Foskey, Boyd, Udo, Amadi, Brissy, Ridgeway, Willie, and Werner. These are players you want to release, Linda? I don't know about some of these guys. I actually like some of these guys. I get you on the Cam and Shepard situation, but some of these other guys, from a cap standpoint, they're not that expensive. All right. Wild says Will Harris is cool. Yeah, he's cool. All right, Professor. Shout out to the professor. Say thank you. Thank you, Professor. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for keeping the Saints organizational management accountable. Somebody got to do it. Thank you, Professor. Appreciate you, sir, for that. Brandon says the fact that the Saints 2026 and 27 salary cap is in a good spot, probably for the first time in over a decade, is the reason to throw a parade. You'll get it in 2027. You have a whole new team, but you'll get it in 2027. All right. All right. Big ups to the rest of y'all, man. Y'all hit the like button for me. One Smoke says, I say we take a risk and draft a tight end, Tyler Warren. He will open up a lot for Olave and Shaheed. I thought about that. One Smoke. Not a bad idea. This tight end from Warren, that's the guy from Penn State. Man, that would be phenomenal. That would be a good pickup for the Saints to get a tight end, because that is going to be a major hole that the Saints will have to. You talk about holes that they'll have to fill in, like the wide receiver position, Chris Olave status. I think Chris Olave would be all right. Like I said, I like the MBS. I don't think he'll cost a lot to get Rashid and and Olave healthy with MBS, Clyde Edwards-Helaire to go along with AK, Kendre Miller. I like those guys. Juwan Johnson, I think it's time for Juwan to go. He didn't excel like we wanted to. He made some good plays for us, but we really had high expectations for Juwan Johnson to be like a guy that's a perennial 50 catch tight end. And he wasn't. I don't know, he wasn't that guy. He had an opportunity to, but perhaps the Saints could use a stellar tight end option to open up things. That's not a bad call, One Smoke. He could, and it's possible he could be available at 9, bro. So I don't know. That's very interesting, though. All right, Mr. Rose says, Q, what do you think at the what do you think at going edge for the ninth pick? If the brother from Penn State is there, you absolutely if the brother from Penn State is there, Mr. Rose, I'm with you, sir. I'm with you on that, man. If the brother from Penn State is there, man, you get that. Unfortunately, I don't think he'll be there. They have some good edge rushers in the draft. I'm looking at the Saints, and I really like, and the strategy is going to more than likely be take the best player available. That will probably be what happens there, because the Saints did kind of add some more draft picks so they can kind of move around the board they want to. But that first pick seems like it's going to be like a best player available type of pick, right? You got a lot of people they can reach to at 9. They just stand right there. Somebody that's a top 3, top 2 guy, top 5, 6 guy will slide to him. You know how it is in the draft. Like somebody might have another player valuable, higher value according to another team, and the guys tend to slide. So we might get a guy like that. I don't think that brother from Penn State's going to be available, but that's the only guy I would look to, like taking at 9. I don't think this, I think interiorly speaking, I would really want to address my line. You know, if a guy, it could be a possible that a Will Campbell or the brother from Alabama, the defensive tackle, I think what his name, Evans, from Alabama would slide to you there. You can get one of the top 2 tackles. I mean, these guys are really good. These are like foundation, franchise, cornerstone type offensive linemen for your team. And one or two of those guys could slide to you. If that's the case, and you get a guy like that falls to you at number 9, man, you just shift your line. You know, you add them in there, you shift your line around, and it has to be a focal point for the Saints. That line it wasn't good. The first 2 games, yes, until they figured you out. People say, well, how you explain the first 2 games, Q? They figured you out. You had no counterpunch. You had no backup plan for nothing. It wasn't just because people just started getting hurt. The Saints could have won against the Saints should have beat the Eagles in that game. They should have won that Eagles game. To be honest with you, they should have won that game. And there were 2 or 3 other games the Saints should have won. They just fell apart on with bad coaching, and bad execution, bad play calling, stuff that you don't put out there at the end of the season press conference to explain why these people were losing these games. It's all about injuries. Who's falling for that anymore? Who's falling for the injury excuse year after year? But based on what I was watching, bro, I think you would benefit by going after and improving the interior offensive line and the interior defensive lines. We need to run the ball and stop the run. That's the only way, regardless of who your quarterback is. If it's Carr or a rookie, you need somebody to protect the quarterback, and you need somebody to run the football or block for Elvin, block for Kendre, block for whoever's back there. And you need somebody to stop the run, you know, so people don't stack up on us. So I mean, I'm just adamant. You don't have nothing if your line ain't hitting on nothing. And the Saints line wasn't good. McCoy kept breaking down. Ruiz is mediocre as hell, man. People don't get that, man. I keep telling the same thing. We need to look at that dude. Dude is not hitting for what it's hitting for. He's not all that. All right, Chantel says, Q, watch the Saints end up with Rizzi as the head coach. Wouldn't be surprised, Chantel. Much love. Madro says, Q, what about Williams, the safety? Oh, yeah, from Alabama. You talking about, you said Michael? You talking about your boy from Alabama, the safety, right? At 9, a safety at 9? I don't know, bro. I don't know about that one, bro. Appreciate you. All right, shout out to my dog Randolph, man, keeping it real. Look for Cliff Kingsbury to be the top candidate for Saints head coaching job after this season. There you go. All right, Randolph, shout out to you, man. Great minds think alike, brother. Brandon says, wouldn't be surprised if Glenn does end up with the Jets and we get Brady. Hopefully we can get a top-notch defensive coordinator. Thank you, Brandon. All right, Cartel says, Q, what about Tanner Ingstein, the young passing game coordinator from Detroit, as an addition to the coach staff? Are you familiar with him? I've heard of him, bro. I have to do a little bit more information on him. Thank you for that. All right, Professor says keep an eye on Ferguson, tight end from Oregon. I'm familiar. Thank you, Professor. Yeah, I got a wide receiver show to be coming up later on today that we did. I got the next one I think is cornerbacks we doing, and that'll be released on Tuesday. So we kind of laying it out. I got film and everything attached to the breakdowns. That's what's taking me a while to put them out. They own it for the Patreon family members and the YouTube membership family. Keeping it real says Randolph says I would not be mad at Joe Brady. Seems to have leadership ability to lead a group of men. All right, thank you. Randolph Carla says, wife buying property in New York. All right, you're doing it big, girl. All right, 504 Co says, Q, check out Ricky White, the third wide receiver out of UNLV. We can grab him in the third or fourth round. Thank you, sir. Big Smoke Dog says, yeah, we need a tight end, cut Johnson. He's a free agent, bro. Ain't no need to cut him. He already going out the door. K-Man says, who that? Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you as well. All right. Cardell says, I've been saying for some time now that we will be in football purgatory until Gail Benson gets the guts to move Mickey Loomis out of his position and go with someone with a new vision for the team. Shout out to you, Mr. Cardell. Brother, let me tell you something. You right at home here, bro. You're right at home here, man. And I'm telling you, man, I'm not a Mickey Loomis, even though, you know, Mickey Loomis as a VP is not a bad VP. He's not. Mickey Loomis, the general manager, is horrible because he treats the general manager position like a VP. He doesn't do any evaluation work, nothing serious. Like, it's not professional. It should have been an end of the season press conference. Mean you have all the end of the season data that you need to create a idea to answer questions for the family base. That's what you are. You are answering what happened in the season. Why did you not make the playoffs? This type of stuff. And him having two jobs this long is ridiculous. And I just think that at what is he, 70 something years old? He don't need two jobs that old, man, especially in a young league. But this is all Gail Benson's fault, man. This is all on Gail. Gail don't give a damn, and Gail is making money. And that's the problem. The division is working. Listen, fam, Cardell, listen, bro. The vision is working perfectly if you Gail Benson. This is what she wants. She paying these guys for this sub 500 football, 9 playoff football. Man, that's what she wants. She wants that because if she didn't want it, she would do something differently, wouldn't she? She wouldn't keep putting money after bad and keep doing the same dumb shit over and over again, getting the same result. So she wants this. This is what she wants. Because if she didn't want this, she would have been made some shakeups and moves to do something different. So yes, this is what she wants, you know. Thank you, bro. Simmons from the Ohio State is worth the first round pick. Thank you, Professor. Appreciate you. Derek says Cedric Wilson wasted. That's another guy that shouldn't have been on the team, but he's some kind of way him and Ali Udo made it for the entire summation of the year. It's very interesting. Brandon says, Sharif says from WDFSU said on Twitter that we need to hire Cliff Kingsbury. Before I've said it, fam, I kept telling y'all it's something, didn't I? Boy, them instincts be hitting on one, fam. Before he started having all this, I said, fam, it's something about, I told y'all this, over a week ago? Before all this happened, I was like, fam, it's something about Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know what it is. I don't have any information or data. Put one on in the chat, fam, if y'all remember me saying this. I kept saying, I say, fam, I don't know what it is. I don't have anything from the street because I usually get the word from the street. But I don't have nothing from the street. I told y'all, I said this is strictly instinctual that I'm getting about Cliff Kingsbury. Something there about Cliff King. I don't have any reports. I don't have any people telling me otherwise or telling me, you know, that it is. It's just something I'm getting. It's a draw there. That's Saints and Kingsbury. I don't know what it is. I could be wrong. We'll see. Mad Drummer says no edge rusher from Georgia. It says no. Yeah, she's talking about Williams. Okay, thank you. All right. Q says no. The edge rusher from. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got who you're talking about, brother. I don't know, bro. Let me do a little bit more work. Let me do a little bit more work, bro. Let me work on that. I'm gonna give you an educated answer. Let me do some more work this week. Linda says the culture will not change until Gail sells the team. Both of them. Linda, you're 100%. You hitting on it. Desi says Gail need to sell the team. The ladies are right. The ladies is telling the lady, hey man, get your ass from up off this team. What's up, Kathleen? All right. What's up? Donna says, yeah. See, family's heard it. Fam, it's something about that Cliff Kingsbury thing. I don't know. All right, Derek says, I mean, Q, Tom Benson didn't do too well running the show either toward the back end. He didn't because Tom Benson wanted a brand new stadium and he wanted us to pay for it. See, the problem is in New Orleans, like a lot of major cities, is a lot of corruption. That's the problem. And for a long time, the city was mob ran for a long time. This is a well known thing, right? Like you go back in the history of it, you can understand the syndicate used to run it through Carlos Marcello. He used to be the Don that ran it for the syndicate up north. So there was a lot of corruption through the politicians and all this kind of stuff, the bureaucrats, the governors, all that, man. It was a lot of corruption. Same thing in New Orleans that happened there. And these people get to a point where they wanted a brand new stadium and they wanted the people to pay for it. Tom Benson wanted an open air stadium. This was right before Katrina came in. The team was horrible. They were failing. People was disgusted with him because he had a reputation at times of being a guy that cared more about making money than he did so much so about fielding and winning product. And he took a lot of heat for that, especially in '05, leading up to that. And then he made the decision to move in because he was cheap. Let's just be honest, which I ain't trying to say something wrong, but it's a fact about what he was very cheap when it came down to spending when he should have spent. Like it worked out with the Sean Payton hire, but we got Sean Payton because he refused to pay what Gary Kubiak wanted. He wanted Gary Kubiak. I'm telling y'all, it wasn't no and Sean Payton came here and the Saints was a perfect match. That's some BS, fam. That's revisionist history crap, trying to make it look some way like it was meant to be. No, Tom Benson wanted Gary Kubiak because Kubiak had all the accolades. He was a backup quarterback behind John Elway. He won 2 titles just as a backup to Elway when they were playing. Then when he became a coach, he won a title. I think it was 2 titles. Yeah, 2 titles. He won 2 championships as the offensive coordinator under Shanahan with Denver. So he had the hardware that Tom Benson wanted, and he liked Gary Kubiak. Problem was, Houston offered Gary Kubiak a nice contract. He brought the contract to Tom Benson and said, "Hey, could you match this?" Tom Benson told him no. He went to Houston. And then he hired Sean Payton, who was being looked at by somebody else. Sean Payton was being looked at by Green Bay. Green Bay chose McCarthy. And Sean Payton, that's how he ended up here. When he made Sean Payton a deal and made Sean Payton a coach. And you ended up with Breeze because the Miami Dolphins didn't want Breeze. It was between when Nick Saban took over the job and he was the GM and head coach for 1 year after he left LSU. All crazy how this stuff worked out. He was there for 1 year, and as the general manager, he had to choose between 2 quarterbacks. It was Dante Culpepper or Drew Brees. Both quarterbacks had injuries. He chose Dante Culpepper. Drew Brees came to New Orleans. Now, had that been in reverse, you would end up with Culpepper. Whoever they didn't choose, you would have ended up getting. That's how it was going. So we ended up with Drew. So both of these guys were guys that we initially didn't want, right? But ultimately, it came to be. But that's how it all situated. And I say all that to say is that the pressure of what was going on that led up to that was the reason why Tom Benson had to really start stepping his game up and really dialing in with the team, because the team, the people, that's nothing new what I'm doing. The people would dig in and they stop supporting the team because they tired of it. They get sick of the losing and they dig in and they say, man, forget them people. And they turn the games off or whatever, and we stop watching them. And the viewership will plummet. They'll start losing money. This ain't nothing new. What are we doing? What I'm doing here, fam. This is stuff that happened in the 80s. It happened in the 90s. It happens over time when a team get too big and full of itself that you gotta let the air out of them, economically speaking. You get me? That's just a cycle, and we're repeating the cycle. It's time for us to step in and dig in. That's all this is. So we just got to play our role, historically speaking. Brandon says, Q, if we do hire Brady or Cliff Kingsbury, who would you want to be the defensive coordinator? I don't know, bro. I have to think about that, man. If I had my picks and chooses, man, I would go with Robert Saleh. I would want Robert Saleh to be if you had hired a Cliff Kingsbury, I would want Robert Saleh to be my defensive coordinator. That's who it would be, Robert Saleh. Love to bring him in with that, what he did with the 49ers and how he runs the defense, man. That guy knows how to run a defense. Plus, he's a good guy. Like morally speaking, he ain't no back throat, back throat cutting type cat, doing weird stuff and sashaying around. He don't have no sashaying going on. So yeah, I would say Robert Sala, brother, for that. Mike says if I was Cliff, I'd stay the F in Washington. You got JD5 and made more and way more chances at a ring than there. Hey man, Mike, you making a good point on that, bro. That's pretty cool. All right, good point on that too, man. Good business. Dewan says, I believe that the players are bad. It's been bad coach. He said, I don't believe the players are bad. It's been bad coach. Okay. We have good players. The coaching and play calling is trash. I get you on that, bro. I got you. All right, brother Cardell say, hey, Q, your grandparents raised me until I was 8 years old. James, ask your parents and your sister, Cordell. My grandparents until I was 8 years old. My grandparents, bro. All right. Yeah, they both then passed on, man, to higher life, man. Yeah, I'll do that, man. James. Okay, I'll do that, man. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, my grandparents, man, they did a lot of great things, man. I'm just a part of that, man. Just trying to keep them proud and do the best that I can do to represent my lineage. Carla says Kingsbury is an offensive assassin, but head coach, not so much. Thank you, Carla. All right, let me see the rest of the fam. Jack says, yep, we got lucky to get Peyton. Mickey thinks it was his smarts. Now we know better. He is a clown. Yeah, if Mickey was smart, he would definitely be making smarter moves than this. Wallace says, I would love to see Kingsbury over our running backs with Taysom Hill. 504 Cole says, we're not mad at Cliff. He's not going to have any patience with Carr, or he may just want to start Spencer Rattler. Yeah, and this is something too, fam, to take account of, and I'm just laying it out. And y'all tell me if y'all agree to it one way or the other, is that at some point the Derek Carr situation will present itself. It will. Right now we're looking at the team cap at $52+ million in the red. But the Derek Carr situation is also something that eventually is going to rear its head. It's going to, at some point, rear its face. What's going on with that? Like, are they going to restructure this guy? If they are, you're going to be tied to him for 2026. If they don't, then you can get from up on him after a year. So, I mean, I believe he has a no trade clause on this agreement. The Saints gave him every advantage. They gave him, you won't talk about a foolish contract, family. These people gave this man all the advantage. Who would be foolish enough to do this deal? Except for Mickey Loomis. He had no intelligence at all making this arrangement. He didn't have any presence of mind to know, what if this possum failed, then what will we do? He had no presence of mind whatsoever. So for them to cut him, what if he doesn't want to cut him? From what I'm hearing is he wants Derek Carr as the starter, which could complicate things for a coach, which will complicate things for a coach. So, I don't know, man. I don't know if you can do that. You got a guy making this kind of money, 30-something million dollars. What is it, 50 million? No, 30 million this year and 50. Oh my God. Look at this, man. This is what he did. Look at this. This in 2025, this year at 30 million, 11.4, you put them together. That's crazy. Over $44 million they owed him, including the roster bonus of $10 million. So his cap number is $51.4 million this year. He is a guy that gets hurt over and over again. He got hurt. He's been hurt the last couple of years in and out of the lineup, right? But he has an escalating agreement. Next year in 26, it goes to $50 million with an $11.4+ million situation. That puts him over $60 million in 2026 and $61.4 million on the dead cap number. So, I mean, at some point, you're going to have to face this. Whoever it is, you're going to have to deal with this one way or the other, right? At one way or the other, you're going to have to deal with it. If you're the head coach, and if you don't want this guy, I don't see how you're going to be allowed, if he's on the team, to put a second year quarterback over a guy that's making that kind of money. That's not how it works. He getting paid the money to start. That's just how it goes, right? I don't see how you get around that. We'll see. All right. All right. Big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. English says Benson was the guy picking those candidates, and ultimately Peyton. Yeah. Loomis didn't bring Peyton here like he likes to browbeat us about. Yeah, Mickey Loomis and them made suggestions about people that's particular, but yeah, it was up to Tom Benson. He had the last word on which guy he wanted to pay. So he had to do the interviews, and they talked to him after a certain point. The finalists did, right? And he decided on which guy he wanted to be the coach. So, you know, that's true. But yeah, Mickey Loomis did he was a part of the process, though. You know, of course he's gonna try to take some kind of credit for it, because the guy in there, you don't want to take any blame for anything, and that's corny. Andrew says start Rattler, put Carr back up for the next year, and eat that $50 million, man. They're not going to do that, bro. And build around the style of QB like Rattler. If he's not the answer, they're not going to do that, bro. They're not going to bench $50 million. If he's on the team, he's going to start. You got to justify the money. They're not going to do that. Especially that's Mickey Loomis is an adamant believer in Derek Carr. He believes in him. Mad Drum says Kingsbury or Brady. Could be, bro. Y'all hitting on it. All right. He also says cutting Carr before June 1st will be $50 million in dead money. Cutting him after save the Saints $30 million and 21 in dead. Yeah, I know. So it will come down to when they move on. If they move on, is this being considered? I don't know if that's being considered or not. Like I said, Mickey Loomis believes in Derek Carr. I would tell y'all like this. I would be big time shocked if Mickey Loomis cuts Derek Carr. I would be majorly shocked. He believes in Derek Carr and doesn't think he made any mistake with Derek Carr. He believes in Carr. Is that any surprise to anybody out there? Jack said the real reason we have so much dead money from players is because they lower the front end. Yes, yeah. They have elevator contracts, and it bonus is guaranteed. Then it says immortalizes over the added years. Yeah, it's escalating money. It's stupid contracts. Yes, it's elevator. I call them elevator agreements, where they start off low, and then as the player gets old, they escalate, which is ridiculous. You're giving all that money to an older player. It doesn't make any sense. They don't operate the opposite way, because usually to do that, they're in a position where they're trying to save as much money because they're not in a good spot leverage wise insofar as the cap is concerned. So they have to then start off low and then bailed up high and offer all this money for people to sign agreements with them because they're in a poor spot economically speaking. That's Mickey Loomis. Doesn't want to take any blame for this shit though. The Broncos had to eat $85 million in dead money when they moved on from Russell Wilson. Yes, they did. We just ripped the Band-Aid off and ate $50 million and just move on from Carr. That makes sense if you got a guy with that plan. I just don't see it. Jane Dillson tonight it says tonight low will be 12. Yeah, I know it's gonna be cold, bro. Tomorrow it's gonna be kind of cold. Y'all bundle up, man. Yeah, that's true. K-Man says they're going to let the new coach decide if he wants Carr. We'll see. We'll see, bro. That's not what I'm hearing, but we'll see. I hope you're right. That ego Mickey has to say. I told y'all, extremely petty, man. Extremely petty. Don't want any blame for any of his screw ups. Want all the credit in the world, man. What kind of dude is that? All right, we have to move on from Carr. Really, we don't have a choice if success and winning is the goal. Indeed, but what if we don't see that we're losing? We're not really losing right now, right? Like Dennis Allen says, I didn't fail. They just wanted somebody else. And Dennis Allen is a good coach. Hold on now. I don't back off anything I said. Dennis Allen is an excellent coach. It's just whatever. No, gets no blame for nothing. Nobody gets held up for what they did wrong. None of that. It's just injury. The culprit it was the injury monster. Him and the boogeyman are best friends. Hell yeah. The injury man. The injury man, the boogeyman, all of them get the blame for why the Saints are a 5-win team. But Mickey Loomis, none of them don't get any blame for anything that they got going on. They never do. All right, anyway, shout out to the fam 200 plus that voted on the poll. Y'all do me a service. Y'all hit the like button, Hit the subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, please feel free to share the show on social media feed. We up in this thing. Carla says, Q, what happens to Hayner now? Is he going? No, Hayner's still under contract. Jake Hayner's still under agreement. He's still under contract. They'll have him. Brandon says if we could, Loomis probably would have given Allen a contract extension. Absolutely. It's insanity. What's up, brother? Rose, shout out to you, man. All right, we got a poll question there, man. Actually, it's a poll question there. Who do you prefer at the head coaching position? We have Coach Aaron Glenn, Mike McCarthy, Joe Brady, and somebody else. Y'all get y'all vote in. We got over 200 people that voted on the poll. Right now, Aaron Glenn is running away with it. 34% of the mighty Who Dat Nation believes that Aaron Glenn should be the next head coach. 23% says somebody else. 20, no, actually, hold it. I'm sorry. Hold on now. That poll is different. Hold on. Get it right, Q. 34% Aaron Glenn, 27% Joe Brady, 23% somebody else, and 16% Mike McCarthy. So there you go. That's the poll. So y'all get y'all voting. It'll be up until the end of the stream, which is not too long from now. All right. So a lot of people say Cliff Kingsbury should be the guy. There's a lot of people jumping on the Cliff Kingsbury train, man. I was like, man, I don't know, man. But it's something about this, something with the Saints, and there ain't really nothing going on right there. It's just a connection that I just like last week when I first talking. I'm like, I don't know, family. It's something weird. I'm getting this weird energy about it between Saints and Kingsbury, and they didn't even meet. He canceled his interview so he could focus on his offensive coordinator duties. But I was like, I don't know. It's something about that. But it will most certainly be the uniquer of all of the hires. Think about it, because he has no pipeline to the Saints. That would be a curveball. I would consider that a curveball if the Saints did pull and say, hey, man, Cliff Kingsbury is our new head coach. Wouldn't that be cool? And they say, okay, even, and because of his previous coaching experience, you can't discount that. Like if you look at what's the difference between him and Joe Brady, he has previous coaching experience in the NFL, right? He was a coach in college. His resume is grander than Joe Brady's, right? We can't discount that, and that's the interesting part about it. He was a coach, a head coach in college, had some success in college, ran a pro style system, had really good quarterbacks that operated under his system. That's what helped having him make the jump to the NFL. He jumps into the NFL as a head coach of the Cardinals. He was out there for like 3 to 4 years with the Arizona Cardinals, had a sub 500 record, left, became an offensive person again, became a coordinator, climbed back up, had an opportunity to go to the Eagles, I think it was, to take over a multi-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles to be the coordinator for Jalen Hurts, turned that down to go to Washington for the Commanders and take that job, and it paid off for him. Now he's looking to get back into the position. Very unique because, number one, he's still young. That's a lot of experience to have. And he obviously understands these offenses. His whole repertoire is built around offense. And he does have some bit of innovation. That's big with me. It's like, I want my head coach to be innovative, because we've seen these guys that are dead in the water, these melancholy, semi-depressed type individuals that's running the offense, and they don't have any personality to them. It's just like if you talk to them, they're probably looking down at the ground. I'm like, this guy calling plays? This guy? It's some weird up and down energy. We need some guys that know what they're doing, that's confident. We need, and I keep saying innovation, because that's what we need. We're an old team. We need innovation. We need innovation. We need to be able to be on the cusp of having a top-notch offense, because that's how we're going to win these games. We got to be able to score. We got to be able to put up touchdowns. We got to be able to run the football. We got to be able to do things like that to have some type of connection to be able to win. And I'm not mad at the Cliff Kingsbury thing. I think that, that wouldn't be bad. Joe Brady, as an LSU guy, we got love for Joe Brady, but the resume is not quite the same. But would not be surprised if the Saints did go with either one of these men. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. But I would suggest them to keep looking, though, to keep looking and see if you keep talking to people. Because if you want Cliff Kingsbury to be there, then you ultimately what you got to do is it's going to be some weeks before his team is done. Maybe they lose. I mean, you want Jaden Daniels to win, and coming up coming up the next time, in the next game, we need them to win. So you don't know how that's going to happen. It might be his next week, his stop next week, whatever the case may be. When you get an opportunity to interview him again when the season is over with for their team, you're gonna have to wait for that. And I think the Saints should wait. And during that time, go ahead and look at and talk to all these other guys. Bring Brian Flores in. Bring Pete Carroll in here. Bring McCarthy in. Talk to these guys. See what they got to say. Do a grand span of these candidates. Talk to all of them. See what they got to offer. That's my advice to them is just keep looking. Talk to as many people as you possibly can until you find the right person. That's how I look at it. All right. All right, fam. I'm gonna get ready to get on. He says, Tramal says Aaron Glenn would be a fool to come here. Jack says, I would have hired anyone interviewing while I wouldn't have hired anyone interviewing while their team is in the playoffs. Brandon said I miss averaging 35, 38 points a game on offense. K-Man said I wouldn't mind seeing what Kingsbury could do with Jalen Milroe. Wow. Yeah. Man. Jalen Milroe. I don't know, man. It's that'll be interesting. The dude's a phenomenal athlete, fastest man on the field. It's just the offensive, the passing game aspect of it is just his passing side is not quite there. But there have been comparisons between him and Jalen Hurts, which I don't know if I would put that as accurate. Probably more so to Richardson in Indianapolis than so to Jalen, because Jalen actually left Alabama and went to Oklahoma and had a phenomenal season and proved that he can throw as well as run the ball. People forget about that. One year he went to Oklahoma and went up there and had a phenomenal year, up there. Of course, we walked through them. I think that was the year where we won a championship as LSU, and we walked through all those teams. But man, Oklahoma was a juggernaut with him running it. But like I said, yeah, Milroe will be interesting, man, if you can get his game together. I kind of look at him more like on the Richardson side than I do to Jalen Hurts, because Hurts, based on whatever offense you're running, I think it's some uncomfortableness with the offensive play calling. Sometimes you can see it, but the talent's there. The talent's there. The talent's definitely there. 504 Coach says, Professor says no to Milroe. Marley says the Saints are a broke salary cap team with limited funds. 504 Coach says Ben Johnson and Kingsbury both called great games yesterday. They did. Rex says Big Mike will steady the ship for years to come while we wait for an elite QB. All right. 504 Coach says imagine a Daniels versus Lamar Super Bowl. Yeah, that would be awesome, man. Possible too, quite possible, depending on how they all play, man. That's a lot for a rookie quarterback to do, man. Because that's something that is something like some of the greatest quarterbacks didn't do. I think the guys that did some of this stuff, man, that took rookies that took their teams to a Super Bowl. Y'all remember Tulane great what's his name? Damn it. Forgot his name. I could see his face. He did it with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that year. They had the defense and running attack. He got there. Y'all put it in there, man. I forgot my guy's name, man, from Tulane, man. He got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sean, what's Sean's last name, man? Sean, damn it. Damn. Sean White? Is it Sean White? Sean King. There you go. Sean King. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Mike got it. Sean King. That's it. Sean King. That's it. Sean King was drafted. I think that was in 1999. He was drafted as a rookie. He won all kind of stuff too. And he was able to take the team. Now the team was good running the ball and the defense was there, but he was there. I think they went to the Super Bowl that year. I want to say they went to the Super Bowl that year with a rookie quarterback. So it don't happen a lot when it happens, but for him to do that in Washington, and Is Jalen? Yeah, let me tell you something. Jaden Daniels, man, is is the truth, man. That's when we seen him at LSU, man. We knew it all the time, man. The dude's the truth. It ain't just. And then he's grounded, like he's super cool, man. It's like he's grounded. So you got a guy, his head ain't he one of these guys that got the big head, like they got the superstar brain, like they missed everything. He got a humble disposition. He was brung up correctly, is what I calls it. Because he's a humble dude, high football IQ. Really, he's a natural leader. He's grounded, and they got a guy that can run and pass. So whatever you're giving him, he can understand it. He can improve upon it. He's very decisive, knowing majority of the times, like if he don't see something he like, he pulling that ball down and he going. And usually he's the fastest guy on the field. So I don't know how you deal with him, because you could pressure and blitz him, and if you force him out to run, he gonna take off for you, and then you turn around and do 30 yards up the field. So I mean, he's a problem. He's a problem to prepare for. And any team he's on, you're gonna have one of the top highest rushing teams in the game, just like the Ravens are with Lamar Jackson. He adds to the running attack. Like you have Derrick Henry and Lamar scrambling around. That's just that's how it is when you have a scrambling QB threat. The defenses have to spy him, keep a guy on him, and then you could put a guy on him. You just better make sure whoever the guy is, he can keep up with him. You know what I'm saying? You can't be putting Pete Werner on him. I know that for damn certain. All right. Yeah, Brandon says if Jaden wins the NFC Championship, then wins the Super Bowl, this will go down as the best rookie QB season in NFL history. It says, look at the QBs he would have had to go up against in the playoffs. Yes, indeed. English says Daniels knows when and when not to use his superpowers. All right. Yes, indeed. All right. Yeah, this is true. This is true. Doc says, Doc 54 says, Milrose is Taysom 2.0. Yeah, I mean, that's a thing. All right, what's up, Cameron? Shout out to Cameron, man. Big ups to you, man. Appreciate you for being in the stream, man. Shout out to Cameron. But yeah, this is very intriguing and interesting, man. We have to be able to look at this stuff going forward. But all I can say, fam, is in the end, we're gonna see how it all moves for the black and gold, man. And man, we'll see who they're looking at. But like Mickey Loomis says so itself, they're not in a rush to sign somebody right away. And like I said, in between time, see if you can find somebody that, other people to interview, adding to that interview as many people as you possibly can. Like I said, add Brian Flores, add all these other guys to the interview process. I know McCarthy's supposed to be coming up. It's rumored next week. We'll see who else is out there. I know it's supposed to be rumored that the Saints are going to try to set up an in-person situation to talk to Coach Glenn. I would even ask the Saints to put in a request for Ben Johnson. Why not? Go talk to him too. They don't even try to look over that. They're like, well, I know we might not stand a chance. How just put in, see if, go ahead and try. Talk to as many people, expand that look. All right. So anyway, fam, listen, I appreciate y'all for being in the stream today. Y'all do me a service, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not a sub, share the show, regardless of where you socialize, take the show with you. Sports Coma representing the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. Listen, that's a breakdown of some of the coaches' updates and otherwise that we had on this show today, this Sunday stream. I appreciate you guys for being alive. Y'all do me a service, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and show some love to our sponsorship. Show some love to our sponsors, Mint Mobile, Teach Henley, and Bet Online, or you can go to Mint Mobile and Teach Henley. The links are in the description section below for deals they got going on this month. Bet Online, that's to help you out. You got some spare change, you're gonna make a few dollars with Bet Online. They help you out with that. Also, check in the link description for our link tree in the description section for ways of, in terms of merch and all this other stuff that we got going on. Check out our whothatdaily.com for all the latest articles from our platform as well. So listen, with that being said, I'm gonna leave y'all on that. Listen, y'all have a fantastic rest of y'all Sunday, man. And I'm gonna holler at y'all on our Monday stream, man. Much love, and who that to you. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Buggy like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that say they gon' beat them say? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them say? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them say? Who that? Who that?
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat Nation.